and gels. Plus, they have the newest treatment for ED. It's wave therapy, pain-free, and hundreds of their patients have been treated successfully. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in St. Louis? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the St. Louis area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. St. Louis is a perfect market for my system, and this week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000 right now because this free ticket offer expires this Friday. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
The news and information.
This jacket.
Views and conversation.
I don't really care.
It's a disgrace.
We're your voice.
She's going after the mainstream media.
FM News Talk 97.1. Younger, smarter, better.
Hey, St. Louis, it's Brian Kilmeade.
Built by RP Lumber. Best service, best value. RP Lumber.
Trump used his rally to focus on the issue everyone's most enraged about, talk shows. He went after Jimmy Fallon, he went after Jimmy Kimmel, then he went after someone else on TV you know and love.
The guy on CBS is what a lowlife. What a lowlife. Has no talent.
Hey, Mr. President, I will not stand here and let you talk that way about James Corden. He is very talented. He sings, he dances. Have you seen his carpool karaoke?
That's pretty funny. They actually put together a tape, I think, with all three of them and Conan O'Brien. So I haven't seen it yet, but I've read basically the verbatim of it because Jimmy Fallon was called out. Jimmy Kimmel has a no talent. And you know, you heard what he just said about CBS. But the president's doing it on purpose. And it's not something where when he gets hit back, he's expecting it. He's been hit consistently from all three of them for about a year and a half, every single day, including James Corden, by the way, who tells some, you know, half-hearted jokes. From a British perspective, he shouldn't be hitting the American president personally. It just doesn't sit well. And James Corden is my favorite late night show. By far the most creative, the most interesting, but his monologue, I'm not comfortable with it. But now the president wants to get this war on because basically it's been a one-sided war. Go ahead, Allison.
Oh no, it's been one-sided with Colbert, but it's interesting now that, you know,
and
Fallon
Kimmel too.
Oh, absolutely. But with Fallon now sort of jumping into it, like, Fallon's great. Like, why is he so scared that other people were being critical of him for, like, rustling Trump's hair?
Because he got a lot of blowback from celebrities, you know, because these are the people he hangs out with. He hangs out with nothing but celebrities.
But do you not have any, like, self-confidence to be like, no, it was a good segment on the show?
No,
like,
he doesn't.
Can't handle, like, that's
Clearly.
sad.
And Trump is 100% right about Jimmy Fallon because he knows what he's like behind the scenes. Also, Jimmy Fallon told this story how he has a house right near Mitt Romney, and right after the election, he went over, knocked on Mitt Romney's door, and they hung out and talked. He wasn't afraid to admit that he likes Mitt Romney and knocked on his doors at Jimmy Fallon, and they hung out for a while. And now he did that with Trump, and he gets ridiculed.
Oh, I know, and that's the beauty of Fallon. He likes everyone. He's always happy and like go lucky and stuff like that. Which is, and then in the response which we had the other day, not to say that we could pull it up right now, but when he's like saying to people who were critical of him, "Well, what you want me to do? Kill myself?" It was that bad that that's your response because people are giving you, you know, crap for having Trump on. That's crazy.
And by the way, he's hosting the Tonight Show, and he's having the same problem that Conan O'Brien had. Well, Conan O'Brien was losing. He was shedding audience, and they panicked, and they said, let's bring Jay Leno back. You remember he was at 10. And then Leno comes back, starts winning again instantly, and they said, well, I'm only coming back for 2 years. And he comes back in 2 years, he goes, and then they named Jimmy Fallon will be your eventual successor. And when he left, after a couple of weeks, that the ratings spiked, they eventually came down, and now he loses every single day. He sometimes wins in the demo. I don't know if you saw my notes, but part of my notes is I always love to go over ratings, and because we have ratings every day here, and I'm just curious how like the networks compare, and I don't think enough people on air, whether they're producer or not, understand that people keep score every day in management. So when it comes to the morning shows, the late night shows, CBS wins with a 2.8. That was usually good enough for third place when the cable universe
and
wasn't
2.8 means 2.8 million people.
Yeah,
right.
Roughly, maybe a little bit more. And now half that audience, well, not less than that. 0.4 is between 18 and 49. That's low. The Tonight Show gets a 2.1. So roughly 600,000 less people and slightly higher demo, but 0.49. So 0.8, so it only got 10,000 or so more people. Jimmy Kimmel, with all the publicity he gets a 1.8 with the demo 0.36, which is incredible because we get a 0.3 in the morning at 6 a.m. So we actually get a 1.5 on Fox and Friends and then a 1.7 or 1.9 or a 1.7 and then a 1.9. So we only have a certain universe. He gets everybody because every single cable system has to carry ABC, and it's always a low number. So there's some built-in advantages.
True, but here's the thing also with those ratings. I remember hearing an interview with James Corden, and even though his ratings are lower, granted he's on later, he was saying a lot of his allure to the executives at CBS was his online presence. So, I mean, that was also a strength of Fallon's. He would have a lot of videos that went viral. But if you're just going to go political, those videos don't go as viral.
So what do you think? I mean, my feeling is Trump is going to keep calling him out. They're going to get pounded, maybe even combine against him. But he is going to he's going to remind his voters and his supporters that the late night people are just as bad as the media that combines against him, that refuses to look into the Peter Strzok story, but only focus on immigration when it looks like he's splitting up families. We'll only focus on North Korea when it looks like he's igniting a nuclear war. And now he's going to say, look at the late night shows. And by taking the hits last night, he's actually winning.
I agree. I hope. Probably not. Fallon, like that was the lowest he'll go, making fun of this and sort of go back to how he used to be and, really embrace what he's exceptional at, which is just sort of being happy and making fun of everyone in an uplifting way.
I think that he's going to have a chance to redeem himself in his mind. Yesterday was also the primaries. Before we go to break, I want to talk about that and the upset of Joe Crowley, who's had won that seat for 10 straight elections. Is unbelievable. Why? Because he spent $3 million, barely campaigned, didn't debate, and the woman beat him by 15 points. A 28-year-old, the youngest, obviously with the 90% Democrats, the youngest ever to get elected to a House, which will be official in November. She is pro-abandoning ICE. She's pro-guaranteed wage. She wants Medicare for everyone. She, ladies and gentlemen, is a socialist. Aren't you proud to live in Queens? Fantastic. So Brian Kilmeade Show.
Martha McCallum.
We only have an hour with our viewers every evening. We want to make it count for them. We want them to know that they can trust us. So we do our homework. We try to cut through the noise. We try to cut through the hysteria. We're not here to jump on a bandwagon. We're here to drill down on the facts. We know that we live in complicated times. We want to peel that back, and we want to give everybody a sense that when they come to us, we will give it to them straight.
On Fox News Channel, real news, real honest opinion. Tucker Carlson.
There's just so much barking and noise and yelling. Our role is to take 3 steps back and discern what really matters.
Sean Hannity.
The most important thing that we do, we are looking out for the forgotten men and women in this country.
Laura Ingraham.
They're going to get a straight shooter, no holds barred. I'm not going to cut people slack.
Fox is the one place where dissent is allowed.
We have voices. We won't be silent.
Who controls my voice? Nobody.
Fox News Channel. Real news, real honest opinion.
Hey, Tim Jones here for my guys at Universal Windows Direct. I've been telling you about Universal Windows Direct and their quality windows. You know they're going to make your home more beautiful and more energy efficient. They've got the patented Super Spacer technology, rated one of the best options on the market for energy conservation. Did you know they've also got an amazing warranty, the true lifetime warranty for as long as you own your home and 30 years to the next homeowner? That makes these windows the last windows you'll ever need. They're going to save you money, make your home more beautiful too. Every window is custom made from wood trim to premium vinyl. The added security of the cam-style locks. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct because right now, for every window you buy, the next one's free. There's no limits, 0% financing for 36 months, free installation, backed up by that true lifetime warranty. Call to schedule your free in-home estimate today, 314-878-0300. Go to universalwindowsstlouis.com. They're so busy right now, they're hiring window and door installers at top pay, a substantial signing bonus, unlimited year-round work. Want to work for a great company? 314-878-0300. Ask for Stephanie at Universal Windows Direct.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
Powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
FM News Talk 97.1,
a radio.com station.
A U.S.-Russia summit. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. National Security Advisor John Bolton just confirming at a news conference in Moscow that President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin will meet, though he's not revealing the time or place yet.
And with any luck, I won't give away either of those pieces of information today so that the Kremlin and the White House can announce them tomorrow.
So a formal announcement expected tomorrow. Bolton announced the agreement after a meeting with Putin, touching on a number of thorny issues, including Syria, Ukraine, and he did bring up meddling in the 2016 election, which Russia again denied. President Trump moments ago telling a young audience to find something they love to do, but also to be flexible.
You have to always be able to change course a little bit, maybe always with that same goal, but don't quit.
At the White House event, he also talked about supporting free speech and told them not to be afraid to be politically incorrect. The U.S. Supreme Court deals a blow to organized labor. Fox's Jared Halpern, live in Washington.
Government workers who choose not to join a public sector union cannot be forced to pay fees for collective bargaining. The 5-4 opinion authored by Justice Samuel Alito overturns a 41-year-old precedent and scraps so-called fair share fees paid in nearly 24 states. Justice Neil Gorsuch joined the majority opinion along with the court's conservative wing. The 4 liberal justices dissented. In 2016, a similar challenge ended in a 4-4 deadlock after the death of Justice Antonin Scalia. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. Federal hate crime charges filed against a man accused of plowing a car into a crowd of people protesting a white nationalist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, killing a woman, injuring dozens more. The Justice Department just announcing an indictment returned today. The charge is 21-year-old James Fields of Ohio with 30 crimes in all. He was already facing state charges, including first-degree murder. Fox News, fair and balanced.
This is the sound of a brand new outdoor grill being hurled off a 20-story building. Now a stylish glass coffee table. An electric guitar. These are the things you could enjoy, all cast into oblivion. Because when you throw away money on wasted electricity, you throw away everything you could have bought with it. Visit EnergySavers.gov and get tips on how to save energy and money. Then do things like switch to Energy Star light bulbs or Energy Star appliances, and you could save hundreds of dollars a year. So this doesn't happen to the recliner you've had your eye on, or this to the treadmill on your wish list, or this to the shiny new bike your kid's been asking for. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
97.1 News Time, 12:03. Good afternoon. I'm Tony Colombo. The city of Ferguson will continue to prosecute about 1,500 municipal court cases that attorneys filed before 2014, a decision that worries advocates who say they were a product of a policing system the federal government found unconstitutional. Ferguson City Attorney Apollo Carey told U.S. District Judge Catherine Perry yesterday that court officials had reviewed about 7,900 of those older cases since December. Anheuser-Busch heir Billy Busch is scheduled to be in a Creve Coeur Municipal Court today. Busch is charged with fourth-degree assault after an incident last November where Busch was accused of attacking a sixth grader at Chaminade College Prep School. The Missouri GOP has launched a new digital ad and website attacking Missouri State Auditor Nicole Galloway. The ad claims Galloway is injecting her far-left views into Missouri and slams her for her support of Hillary Clinton for president in 2016. This news update brought to you by Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best in fences, decks, patios, and sunrooms.
Do you have an idea for a book? Learn how to get your book idea published, sold online, and at bookstores. Call now for your free guide. 800-470-4833. 800-470-4833.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
It's the Ace Red, White, and Blue sale. The perfect time to buy a grill from our exclusive lineup of premium brands, like the latest from Weber, Traeger, and more. And right now, get free assembly and free delivery on our top grill brands, $3.99 and up. Get the right grill delivered right to your house. Hurry in before it ends. The Red, White, and Blue sale only at Ace. Offer valid for Ace Rewards members only through July 9th. See participating store for scheduling and details.
On the streets of Miami, speed is the law. So when a corn dog goes after the wrong girl,
oh, heartburn!
One man will bring her Tums Ultra Strength.
I'm on my way.
Don't get wrecked by heartburn. Nothing works faster than Tums.
Your mustard's fast, but my Tums are faster.
And with Tums on-the-go rolls, it's never been easier to leave heartburn behind.
You did it.
Yeah. You gonna finish that corn dog?
Tums Ultra Strength, available in a store near you.
Frederick Roofing, wherever you live, from Alton to Afton to Collinsville to Cottleville, Clayton to Creve Coeur, your city and more. Webster to Wildwood, the one you know. Frederick Roofing, wherever you go. For a hole in your roof, for a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing.
645-2000. Frederick is the gold standard for roofing and perhaps priced a bit lower than other bonded and insured roofers. When you invest money into fixing a hole in your roof or putting on a whole new roof, you want the peace of mind that you'll get only with Frederick Roofing. Plus, you can always depend on an immaculate cleanup when the job has been completed by Frederick's own licensed and insured crews.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
Mark Close here for Britton Vision. When you have a procedure done, like medical procedure, there's always the before and after. We went to Britton Vision. My wife Fern and I, Fern had had some eyesight problems for a while now. We went in, we had a pre-meeting, if you will, with Dr. Britton, and it was great because he explains everything and he answers all the questions. And Fern had some problems, with driving and night vision, and then she had to put her specs on to see distance and the reading and all that. We thought, you know what, it's time to do something. And you're a little hesitant at first because this is your eyesight. Even not me, it's my wife, but I'm still hesitant about it. We sat down, had the meeting with Dr. Britton, and just felt really, really good about it. Fern went in, had the procedure. It took literally 20 minutes. She walked out. I was waiting for her. She walked out, and you could see the smile on her face because she was seeing things she had never seen before for a long, long time. If you want to find out more, check out BrittonVision.com or give them a call at 314-375-2020.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the Radio.com app, available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the Radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
The Annie Frey Show.
This hour brought to you by the Rick and Tracy Ellis Real Estate Team. Heard right here on 97.1, Saturdays at 9 and Sundays at 10. Visit TracyEllis.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome into the Annie Frey Show. Happy Wednesday, middle of the week. Getting through the week, almost to the end of it. Hopefully you're enjoying some nice weather. Some calm weather right now. It has been
a little tumultuous. Yesterday, the skies were ridiculous yesterday.
A lot of pictures out there.
Yes,
on
totally.
social media.
Yeah. As soon as the weather hits, it's like you go on Facebook and you can see the same wall cloud from every different direction. Right. The Supreme Court has come out with a very, very impactful ruling on the Janice v. Ask Me case. And what this was a situation where Mark Janice was a public employee, and he was paying into a union that he didn't want to pay into. But when you're a public employee, you don't have the option to opt out of it. And he said, you know what, the dollars that I am funneling into this union that I don't have a say in, those are then going for causes such as the campaigns of candidates that he doesn't support. He said, I would rather take those dollars. His big thing was Boy Scouts. He was a strong supporter of the Scouts. And he said, I could use that money for my community. I could put it into my community and have it be seen go to a greater good. It doesn't need to go to the union in order for that to happen. And in fact, when it does go to the union, it's not even doing something that I support. And the Supreme Court came out today and said, you're right. We're not, that's not going to continue to be the case anymore. It is a huge, huge decision. And we are very much so looking forward to talking to later in the show, John Cass, who writes for the Chicago Tribune, because he was an Illinois state employee. And so the implications in the state of Illinois are significant, but it will have a national effect. So we're going to talk with John Cass about that, and also how this sits on Governor Rauner, because Governor Rauner is the one who pushed this case through. He's going to get some credit when it comes to this case ultimately reaching the Supreme Court, and how this will end up affecting the state of Illinois. And so we're going to talk to John Cass from the Chicago Tribune. Another thing that happened yesterday in the elections, and this is quite stunning, in New York, there was a man who had been in office in the House of Representatives for 20 years. Mm-hmm. Joe Crowley. He served in Democrat House leadership. There are conversations about him potentially becoming the speaker one day when the Democrats take the majority again, God forbid. And he lost his primary. And not only did he lose his primary, he lost his primary to somebody who considers themselves to be, in their words, a socialist Democrat. And the history degree teacher that I'm married to says, I don't think you can be a socialist and a Democrat.
You're one or the other.
I think you're one or the other. And I'm like, that's a really good point.
She's even more socialist. When you think of socialist Democrats, you think of Bernie Sanders. I would say that this now Republican candidate or Democratic candidate is even left of Bernie Sanders.
Yeah. Let's listen to Byron York react to this.
This is a very leftward-leaning candidate on policy, Byron.
A big win for the very progressive wing of the party. And by the way, Joe Crowley had really moved a lot of his positions to the left to try to accommodate his district, a very, very left-leaning, deeply, deeply blue district. There's also something generational going on here. The current leadership of the House Democratic Party, Pelosi, Hoyer, and Clyburn are, I believe, 78, 79, and 77 years old, respectively. Joe Crowley at 56 would have been the new generation of leadership, and now he has been defeated by a 28-year-old. Really, again, indicates there's a lot of turmoil going on in the party.
Senator. Not a 28-year-old. It's funny how you say the way that comes out. It's not really flattering. Sorry, 28-year-olds out there.
I think the point was that this person could be influencing law for decades because of how
he was.
Joe Crowley, I didn't realize that he was 56 years old. He was in office for 20 years. Mm-hmm. 20
He was about my age when he went there.
Yeah. He's won 10 elections. He hadn't even been primaried for 14 years until this Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez decided to run against him this year.
This is what she had to say about her decision to challenge him in the first place.
And the name that is top of mind for you when it comes to the Democrat you think should run against President Trump in 2020, I want one name. What is it?
Man, I do not have one right now. There are a lot of great ones.
That's a problem. That's a problem for your party, isn't it? That you don't have a name?
I mean, I think healthy competition. We're used to voting for the lesser of two evils instead of the better of two options. And I hope that in the future, in 2020, we realize that having more than one amazing candidate is not a problem.
You think for the Democrats, she was the better of two options? I mean, when I think inwardly, I have to look at what the Republican Party is right now, and I don't think that the Republican Party exactly has a strong, solid identity either. But I do think that as President Trump is winning, we're not sick of it yet, keep winning, but as he continues to enact his policies at a very high rate of speed for a president, for a politician to make commitments in the campaign, to be 2 years in and to see what kind of success he's had, I feel as though there will be coalescing around this president because the success that he is bringing to the table, the economy, the unemployment rate, just in general, an idea of America first. America first doesn't have to imply everybody else last. It's not a statement about everybody else, but it's just a matter of keeping our house in order. And if we do that, if we get our budget in order, which will still, President, require some spending reform, certainly, probably even maybe could have been first. But if we work in a way where we get our financials in order, if we continue to solidify our military presence, our defense of our country, and the strength that we want people to see and rely on us to have, if we continue to value what we have here, it will pay dividends down the road. And just because you want to build yourself to be the strongest version of yourself doesn't mean that you're outwardly looking for the destruction of others. It doesn't mean that you're outwardly looking for the other countries that are either around us immediately or in the world to be considered second rate. But we are able to lift people up when we are strong. And the president is doing a very good job of making that happen, which is why I think if the success continues, I think that the Republican Party will have a bigger tent where we will be able to fit some of the people who used to be never Trumpers, some of the people who used to be kind of in the establishment category. I think Lindsey Graham is one of those people. I mean, Lindsey Graham to me was, born and bred establishment the way he appeared early on, but he has come around to give credit to this president where credit is due, and still some criticism from time to time when he differs. But that's okay. Like, we can disagree within our own party on specific things and hash it out and see where the majority lies and move things forward. But Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a 28-year-old socialist in New York, defeats Joe Crowley, who's been there for 20 years. How does that happen? What?
Who was liberal? Who was very liberal himself?
He has no. It's not as though he was a moderate in a moderate. This is a very liberal district as well. You said 90% of
them.
It's like
90. So she's going. The primary was where the election was going to be decided because it's in like a 90% Democratic district up there in New York. So she's going,
barring any
a massive meltdown.
Yeah, she's 28. She's going to have to surround herself with some very smart, experienced campaign folks. But it's not as though it's a 60-40 district where a moderate Republican.
I think the name with the D next to it wins. Period.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that's the way it would be.
You'd think that in Alabama too, and Jeff Sessions,
Well, if she goes and if she's a pedophile, then maybe she'll lose.
And she's not.
That's what it took in Alabama. The three top things on this, just to let you know what level of socialist we're dealing with.
Get your socialist scale out now.
The top three things on her platform was
how is she on border security?
Yeah, that's one of them. Universal health care, a federal jobs guarantee and the abolishment of ICE.
You know, in a perfect world, those are all great. Free health care for everybody.
Who believes that's what I can't. That's
it's
what
not
I can't get.
There's no realism.
I don't understand the people that vote for someone that says they're just going to give you everything for free, because that's not possible.
And I want to know why.
Anybody can step up there and go, hey, I'm going to give everybody a job. I'm going to give everybody health care. I'm going to give everybody a puppy. I'm going to give everybody $1 million.
And someone to take care of that puppy.
Vote for me. Yeah. Vote for me. And people go, that's amazing. I didn't know that finally somebody can give us free health care and give us all jobs. Where's this person been? I'm voting for them. It doesn't work like that.
No. And why, if somebody's promising everybody a job, if you're able to make that happen, why not just promise me the money? Keep the job.
Right.
I just want the money, which is something else the Democrats will promise you. But when you have to look at the way the Democratic Party is moving, they are moving past left. Socialist Democrat, that's what you're going to hear. She's a socialist who's running as a Democrat. Basically, she's going to be a D, like you said, on the ballot, but she's a socialist.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I'm not saying that in a derogatory way, because she calls herself that. They have arrived at the point where socialism is not something that you look at and go, well, that's ridiculous. She's like, no, I'm a socialist. Yeah. And the younger folks who are coming out of universities, who are being indoctrinated in the higher educational institutions all across our country, are being fed this information. Remember, the Democrats own the messenger, so they get to write the message. They have it in the media, they have it in the entertainment industry, and they have it in the higher education system. And they are working very hard on getting it into the regular secondary and elementary education system. Certainly in some places, definitely more than others. But that is where the messengers are. That is where they can shape things. They can mold things. They can mold information and provide it in a way that is palatable to people who are like Miss Ocasio-Cortez. They have not gotten to the point where they have experienced life to understand that, while that all sounds great, it's not doable. You cannot guarantee health care. You cannot guarantee jobs. You can't do it. And when you do it from a federal position, a guaranteed federal job is funded by the taxpayers. So all that money you're going to make on your guaranteed job, you're not going to get to keep much of it. And that ends up being like indentured servitude, where you have to go to work because you were guaranteed a job, and then the taxes are so incredibly high that you end up it's punitive in the end. These people don't value the idea of massive potential success. They are working very hard on guaranteeing minimum to no failure. And that's the best you get in an Ocasio-Cortez world. It's the best you're going to get. And I'm not saying you can't be 28 and smart and run for representative and serve your district well. But you gotta be able to understand what you're saying and how it fits in our American system. And us conservatives are going to have to stand up and speak and be bold in our defense of it. Her running as a socialist, when she's out there talking about being a socialist, if you have a moderate Republican in your district, we need that Republican seat, even if they're not as conservative as you hope that they would be. We need that Republican in the seat to offset the socialist in New York. Oh, my goodness. More talk about this, plus that Supreme Court ruling, and also primaries yesterday. A couple names you might remember. Mitt Romney, Chelsea Manning. How'd they do? We'll talk about it next.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
$1 worth was all that
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app, available on your smartphone in the App Store. Take us with you and never miss the news and opinion from 97.1. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
You lock the doors on your business when you leave, don't you? And you unlock them when you come back. That's because you're protecting what's inside, because what's inside your business is valuable. ThrottleNet does that for you. They get all of your information. They keep it on lockdown so that it's safe and that you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to stress about it. And they are there to help you anytime you need it. They have a 24-hour, 365-day local support system for your business. If you're not into IT, if you're an armchair quarterback IT expert, or if you're, relying on your nephew or your son to try to help, shoot the trouble that you have going on your computer system, what happens if it goes away? You don't have to worry about that with ThrottleNet, because the simple problems, the big problems, they are there waiting to take your phone call to help you get out of a tangle or a big mess, whatever it might be. 866-826-5966. You can call them at 866-826-5966 or visit them online at throttlenet.com.
Are you ready for a grand adventure this summer? Get behind the wheel of a new Land Rover Discovery from Land Rover St. Louis. It's the perfect time to try something new and save more than $5,500 off MSRP on a brand new 2017 Discovery. That's a huge savings on a vehicle that has the power and capability to take you on your next adventure. At Land Rover St. Louis, a Plaza Motor Company on Olive Boulevard in Creve Coeur. Stock number HA043491, MSRP $71,264. See dealer for complete details.
Never paint again. Seriously. Who wants to paint anyways? Rhino Shield would love to paint your home, business, or church for the last time. When it's not raining. Water and sun are the two most damaging villains against your home's defense for chipping, cracking, peeling, and rot. Our permanent ceramic coating locks out 100% of the moisture, 90% of the sun's UV rays, and we back it up with a 25-year transferable warranty. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. See why we are rapidly becoming your neighbor's go-to solution for cracks, splits, nail pops, and just bad color schemes. Now's the time to be smart to save time and money. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with Hero.Loan. The VA loan is one of the greatest benefits of being in the military. Here's why. You can buy a house with no down payment, maximize your cash out on refinance, lower interest rates than any other loan program, and no PMI. At Hero.Loan, we close VA loans in 14 days, and I pay for your appraisal. If you're VA eligible, get the loan you deserve today at Hero.Loan. That's Hero.Loan, the only way to VA. The Home Loan Expert, LLC.
Looking for a solution to high real estate fees? Homeowners Alternative will list your home for as little as 1%. That's right, 1%. Our average seller saves over $7,000. No tricks, no gimmicks. Homeownersalternative.com. Common sense fees.
Brought to you by Black Rifle Coffee. The only place to get Black Rifle Coffee in St. Louis is from Tactical in St. Peters. This is Sig Glockencolt. Get your Black Rifle Coffee, beans, ground, or K-Cups at Tactical. While you're here, build yourself a Black Rifle or customize yours.
The all-new radio.com app is available now. It's an all-new experience that puts listening at your fingertips. We've made it easier than ever to access the radio stations you love. Now, we'll save all your favorite stations and recommend others to you based on your listening. Thumbs up or thumbs down to tell us what you think of what we're playing. Take this station with you on the go. Download the all-new radio.com app for your smartphone today and listen anytime, anywhere.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Thursday, Speaker Tim Jones is in the big chair. He'll have the man at the center of the Supreme Court decision on unions, plus Senator Jim Talent.
On FM News Talk 97.1. This is the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Find the podcast, on demand, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
as everyone was watching, Henry McMaster in South Carolina and Dan Donovan here in New York. The president went out for them pretty hard. They won. What does that tell you?
Well, it tells me the president continues to be exceptionally popular with the Republican electorate, those people who voted him into office. And if you look at what this administration did when it came to South Carolina, Henry McMaster specifically was a very early supporter of candidate Trump. President Trump was down in South Carolina over the weekend. On Monday. The vice president was down there. And this is a race where they wanted to make sure that the people of South Carolina knew that Henry was on the Trump agenda. They went down there in full force, and the voters turned out to support Henry McMaster in what was a runoff election.
I love watching these primaries. I love watching the Trump effect. It's a really big deal to watch the president come in and campaign for people and then see it have success. Because that's what the midterm election is all about. The midterm election is a matter of, do you support what this president is doing or don't you? That's all there is to it. So when it comes to November and you're looking at your ballot, and there's a Republican that's running for office to unseat a Democrat, or a Republican that maybe you weren't a fan of, or a Democrat that has maybe been moderate but isn't going to support the president on this, that, and the other thing, but maybe on, a couple other issues, whatever it might be. How do you feel about this president? Do you support the president? Do you wish that he had a stronger majority in order to get things through? For instance, immigration reform. We're watching as they debate right now on the House floor, because I think that they're possibly going to be doing a vote on immigration today. We are waiting to see if that happens.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Tony still doesn't believe it. But we are going to see if they vote today on immigration reform. And everybody keeps saying that it's not going to pass, that it's going to be a narrow margin and they don't have enough votes. But this is important for you to know where people stand on the president's agenda. The president has advocated for this immigration bill to pass. He has advocated to get it sent to his desk, and the House needs to do their due diligence in order to make that happen. So it's questionable that would happen. And then it goes to the Senate, which is even more questionable because you have a 51-person majority, of which I don't even know if all 51 John McCain is in that 51 majority, correct?
Yeah.
So, and he's not going to be present to vote. So you need every Republican, you need the Susan Collins, you need the Lisa Murkowski, you need every vote in the Senate.
Rand Paul.
Yeah. And, when you're spending $25 billion on a wall and he's saying, where is this money coming from? He's a stickler when it comes to stuff like that. Somebody should be. So how are we going to continue to move forward through November? The question is, what do you want to see president be able to do? Or what do you want to make sure he can't do? So, like, for instance, in the state of Missouri, Claire McCaskill, we need to take her seat back. We need to give it to a Republican. That's why primaries are so very important. Illinois' primary was in March, I believe. And, voter turnout is just abysmal. Voter turnout usually, in general, is abysmal. But they're key elections. Picking the candidate that you can confidently support in the general election is something that you need to participate in. That's why these primaries are so very important. Rachel Sutherland from Fox News Radio is joining us now to give us a little bit of an update. A lot of big names in the primaries yesterday. Mitt Romney, Chelsea Manning, and now we have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, which is a name that most of us weren't familiar with, and we're learning now.
Manning.
Yeah. So, Rachel, thanks for joining us, and tell us what happened yesterday.
Hey, Anna, yeah, it was really a stunning upset in New York's 14th district. It was not expected that Joe Crowley, who has served 10 terms as a Democrat, has been toppled by this young woman. She's 28 years old. I heard she's still paying off her student loans. And if you saw her face last night, she looked just as shocked as anyone else that she had won.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like, because this is such a liberal district, that she'll just be moving forward and probably seated in January. Mm-hmm. And people are wondering, well, what happened here? Especially Crowley, the most himself. And it just seems like she had a really good ground game. She was knocking on doors, combined with low voter turnout. And probably Crowley's rather complacent attitude toward everything.
Yeah, it's really something to see. And I think definitely in the land that we live in now, of social media, it kind of changes the game, I think, when it comes to dollars that you have in your coffers and being able to reach people. Younger people do sometimes have that upper hand when it comes to utilizing social media that is there for them, that doesn't end up costing them anything. What about the other races, the Chelsea Manning and the Mitt Romney? Those were high-profile races as well.
Yeah, Chelsea Manning was taking on Ben Cardin, a Democratic senator from Maryland. He is also another long-term senator, but he held on to his seat. Look, I mean, Maryland is probably not going to go for, they might have gone for Chelsea Manning, but definitely a unique candidate and somebody who might be a bit controversial given the background of leaking and so on. Over Mitt Romney, not such a huge surprise. He did win his primary in Utah and will probably be seated another one in January because Utah is a red state. Now, he ran an interesting campaign. He ran the most low-profile, high-profile campaign I've ever seen. He really kept his head down because he has been critical of Donald Trump. And you know what happens when you're critical of the president? You lose an election. So he was almost a sleeper candidate in that no one seemed to realize Mitt Romney was running. You couldn't even find that. I haven't seen him on Fox News Channel or hardly any of the channels the entire time. So he'll go to Washington, and let's just see, what will his demeanor be like? What will his relationship be like with the president and other members of the Senate? It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of the relationship with the president, supporting him versus not supporting him, what about Henry McMaster in South Carolina, who was running for in that governor primary? President Trump lent him quite a bit of support with that rally that they had earlier this week.
That's right. He went to Columbia, South Carolina, and rallied for McMaster, and then McMaster did win that runoff election, and it just shows, again, the power of the president when it comes to politics and how much influence he's having. Also in New York, Dan Donovan beat Michael Grimm for Staten Island congressional district there. They're both Trump supporters, but President Trump went for Dan Donovan. I'm sure it didn't help Michael Grimm that he had the conviction on tax evasion, and remember, he was the one about 4 years ago, former congressman who threatened to throw a reporter over the balcony at the U.S. Capitol. So you think that maybe would have won President Trump's support. But in this case, it went to Dan Donovan, and he won.
Rachel Sutherland, Fox News Radio, thank you for that update. We're going to continue to follow the primaries as they roll along. I'm so interested to continue to see the Trump effect. That big rally that he gave in South Carolina, he had people rolling. He's just very entertaining in that setting, and it definitely pulled Henry McMaster through for that South Carolina governor spot. We're going to take a quick break because we have a very important guest coming up next. Have you heard of the Supreme Court case, Janus v. AFSCME? We have Mark Janus coming up next, and he is going to talk to us about what does it feel like to win a case in the Supreme Court. Can't wait to talk to him coming up next. At Annie Frey Show, you can tweet me any questions you might have for him, as well as your thoughts on the show. We'll be right back.
Easy to get anywhere.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
All the active weather of the last couple of days now kicking off to the east. 92 will do it for the high this afternoon. The humidity will be able to cut with a knife. Tonight, clear skies. 75 for the overnight low. 80s for evening plans. Thursday through Sunday, sunny, hot, and humid. 95 to 100 degrees each day. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show, live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Don't think you can afford a new heating and cooling system? You can with 0% financing for 72 months on select heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com. It's summer and it's time to barbecue. It's time to hang out in your yard. And if you're out there and you're looking at your fence and there's some holes in it, or it's a little dingy, or it's not really holding up the way you want it to be, it's time to call STL Fence Works. Maybe you would like to have a new fence put in your yard and you've never had a fenced in yard before. If you want the best looking fence I was going to say on the block, but maybe like in the backyard of the block, you need to reach out to STL Fenceworks, talk to Sean Long, because he cares about quality. He cares about you. His name is on the company, and he wants to make sure that you are fully satisfied with the job that he does. It's a family-owned company and has been for 47 years. He has an A+ rating with the BBB, and he wants to make sure that you become part of that satisfaction. He's committed to quality. He has a lifetime workmanship warranty on their fence and deck products, and he's got a design exactly for you. He can meet your needs, and he can do it in a way that you are proud to say that you went to STL Fenceworks. You can visit them online at stlfenceworks.com.
A lot of nasal congestion, especially at night, facial pain, pressure.
Cynthia suffered for years with chronic sinus infections. She was fed up.
I was in my primary care physician's office, and she was prescribing another course of antibiotics. And I think at that moment, I just thought, this is ridiculous. There has to be some other option.
She set an appointment with Dr. James Gould at the St. Louis Sinus Center. Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office called balloon sinuplasty.
I was home within a few hours and back to work the next morning. I could breathe so much easier, especially with activity and at night, being able to sleep a lot better. My energy level was increased, being a mom and being able to be more active with my little one. At least to me, that was the most important thing.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections? Set an appointment today with Dr. James Gould at the St. Louis Sinus Center. Call 314-449-8761. 449-8761. That's 449-8761.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
It's the Ace Red, White, and Blue sale. The perfect time to buy a grill from our exclusive lineup of premium brands, like the latest from Weber, Traeger, and more. And right now, get free assembly and free delivery on our top grill brands, $3.99 and up. Get the right grill delivered right to your house. Hurry in before it ends. The Red, White, and Blue sale only at Ace. Offer valid for Ace Rewards members only through July 9th. See participating store for scheduling and details.
On the streets of Miami, speed is the law. So when a corn dog goes after the wrong girl,
Oh, heartburn!
one man will bring her Tums Ultra Strength.
I'm on my way.
Don't get wrecked by heartburn. Nothing works faster than Tums.
Your mustard's fast, but my Tums are faster.
And with Tums on the go rolls, it's never been easier to leave heartburn behind.
You did it.
Yeah. You gonna finish that corn dog?
Tums Ultra Strength, available in a store near you.
The Annie Frey Show.
This hour brought to you by the Rick and Tracy Ellis Real Estate Team. Heard right here on 97.1. Saturdays at 9 and Sundays at 10. Visit TracyEllis.com.
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast on demand and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Say it's alright, have a good time, 'cause it's alright.
I want to get right to our guest, Mark Janus, a name that you probably are familiar with right now, joins us. Mark Janus, you are a hero to me. I am a resident of the state of Illinois, and I've been following this case for quite some time, not as long as you have, but I just want to thank you for giving us some time to come on here. I was going to tell your story, but since you're here, can you tell the listeners, why you decided to bring this case to court in the first place and what it feels like to have this type of victory today?
Well, this type of victory is just fantastic. It's I'm elated, I'm excited, and it's not necessarily my victory per se. It's for the 5 million public sector workers across 22 states, that includes Illinois, that now have a choice and a voice to decide for themselves whether they want to be a part of a union or not. And they are not going to have to pay this agency fee that the unions collect in order to work for a public entity. And that's the most important part of this whole decision that came down today that we've been working on for the last 3 years or so.
Yeah, it is quite something. In this landmark labor case, the court ruled that forced union fees are unconstitutional. When those fees were being taken out of your paycheck, what kind of things... Like, where do these dollars go to? I don't think everyone understands the distance between where the money is in your paycheck and where it arrives eventually. How can that be offensive potentially to the person who doesn't actually have a choice in whether that money gets taken out?
Well, the offensive part of it is that we actually really don't know where that money goes. Now, the unions claim that it goes strictly for collective bargaining contract negotiations. But my contention is, okay, you have a bargaining committee of, let's say, a dozen people. Does it cost the union any more money to bargain for 5,000 people as it does for, let's say, 10,000 people?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you strictly look at it on an economies of scale, as like a small business would, where do they need all this extra money and why? And the nebulous part of this is we really don't know where this money is going. We've asked for accountings. They put it forth in Hudson agreements, but quite frankly, they can kind of classify it any way they want. And it's, some people would say it's dark money. I wouldn't go there, but some people would.
Yeah. Well, you served as, are you still currently working? You're a child support specialist for the state of Illinois?
Yes. Yeah, I go back to work Monday.
Well, that should be fun.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait.
So, if that money doesn't go to the union, I've seen some stories, I've seen some videos that you've done. There are things that you could do with that money that you've talked about supporting in other places where you can give into, contribute to your community. What does that mean to you to have that control back?
Well, to have that control back is just huge. It's fantastic because now I can choose where that money goes. I'm very strongly associated with the Boy Scouts of America. I'm an Eagle Scout, and I could put that money towards that organization. I could put it towards any one of a number of organizations, whether it be the Red Cross, Goodwill Industries, my church, any number of organizations out there that I deem it's important to support. And the fact that now I've got that choice to do that is what I'm going to definitely give some thought to as to where to put that money and where it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
I also think, again, I mentioned that it's not only me. There's 5 million of us out there, that are in the public sector. And the other thing people have to remember is, unions are not going to go away. Unfortunately, against what the unions are saying, unions will continue to collective bargain. They will continue to have membership. And they will continue to work, in the endeavors that they want to endeavor in. And so this, fallacy of that I'm a union buster is just totally blatantly false and is totally off target by miles.
Mm-hmm. There are 370,000 other government employees in Illinois, and they will be impacted by this decision. It's not like people aren't going to be allowed to be members of the union. Do you think that the unions still serve a quality purpose for the people who belong to them?
Well, I think that's up to the individuals to decide whether, they think the unions are working in the direction that they want. What I found most interesting was on the steps of the Supreme Court after the oral arguments back in February. We had Randy Weingarten, who's the head of the teachers union, and she basically came right out and said, well, if we lose, we're going to have to do a better job of communicating with our members.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what a comment. Shouldn't you have been doing this from day one?
Yeah.
A long time ago? Why now does it take my case for you to all of a sudden realize that you need to do a better job at communicating and working with your membership?
Yeah, I'm going to let you go because I know you have to run. But Mark Janis, you've fought a very good fight, and as a taxpayer in the state of Illinois, along with the rest of the public employees that do exist out there, thank you for doing this, and we will continue to follow what happens next because certainly there will be more to come.
Oh, definitely will be. Yeah, we're now got more work to do. This is just kind of step one.
Yep, it certainly is. Mark Janis, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It's so crazy to think, just like what he said there. That's exactly the point. You've got somebody who's ahead of the teachers union saying, well, I guess we're going to have to do a better job of communicating to our members. Well, I mean, when the money is there and it's guaranteed, and whether they like you or they hate you, that it degrades the level of service that the union is going to provide its employees. Here's the deal, folks. Unions aren't inherently bad. Public unions don't necessarily have to be inherently bad. It's frustrating because they are funded on taxpayer dollars. Where the frustration exists, and I know a lot of teachers who feel exactly the same way. They support their union. They're happy they're in their union, but they're disgusted by the way the dollars get thrown around in the political climate and where they go and what they fund. They become this necessary evil, but when there's no accountability for the people who are receiving those dollars out of those paychecks, when there's no accountability, the union does not have to act on behalf of its members at all times. And that's where a major frustration for folks in the state of Illinois, and I'm certainly in other states as well, exists, because these unions have guaranteed money from their workers. Guaranteed money. They can then use it to fund politicians, campaigns, whatever it might be, to support up politicians who then make sure that they do pass legislation or do not pass any legislation, always with the idea of protecting these unions in mind. Illinois' pension crisis is $250 billion or more out of control. We have passed an income tax increase, the 32% permanent income tax increase on the taxpayers of the state of Illinois. It doesn't address the pension debt. That is the massive problem. And our credit ratings in the state of Illinois are so bad that every year that goes by that we don't pay this debt down, you know what happens? The interest goes up on that debt. So it balloons and it explodes, and there's no plan. There's no commitment to getting rid of this debt. And if this debt exists right now, and you're a 60-year-old retiree or a 70-year-old retiree in the state of Illinois, you're probably on the edge of your seat going, what's going to happen here? But what about the person who's 28 years old or 38 years old or 48 years old, who's been paying into the system over a course of time, and they have no idea what's going to come of it? It's not much different than Social Security. It's very relatable. And it's very hard to watch the automatic funding of these public unions and without any type of check or repercussion. Rick, thanks for calling the show.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the stuff you're just saying is just completely wrong.
Okay, correct me.
Unions don't take any money out of the taxpayer's pocket. The people that are working don't put the money in every month. It has nothing to do with the taxpayers. They don't give money to just political people. They only have political action committee, COPE, and that's where the people voluntarily donate money to that, and they don't have to. No other money comes out of the union for anything political. Also, they do have accountability. If these people just don't want to go vote or don't want to go to the union meetings, there's nothing that happens in a union that's not voted on by the membership. Nothing. They can't even buy a big pot for these summer picnics that the unions have a lot of times, unless the members vote on it.
Hey, Rick.
What?
The member of the union pays money to the union, and you're telling me that union doesn't do anything to get specific candidates elected?
They can support them
financially,
saying that we support them, but they can't give any money to a union or to a political thing unless it's through a specific thing, just like like I said, COPE, which is a political action committee. No money goes to nobody political unless it's through money that was already donated, specifically for that purpose.
No, I mean, that's...
No, yes, I was in the union. I've been in the union all my working career.
What union?
That's exactly the case.
Which union?
I was in the communication work.
Is it a public union?
No.
Well, that's different.
No, it's not. Unions are
Rick,
unions. They go by the same national labor laws that
but
everybody
no,
else
Rick, when you're in a private union, you're not negotiating with taxpayer dollars. That's a huge difference. The public
people and regular workers, they deserve to be paid a living wage just like everybody else.
Sure, fine, yes, but the money comes from taxpayers. The money that pays.
It's not the money that goes into the union. The money.
I know, but Rick, you need to follow me slowly here around this circle of how the money flows. Public worker goes to work, gets a paycheck. When they put that paycheck in their checking account, there's less money in the paycheck than they earned because some of that money goes to the union. That public union, then goes to campaign and lobby for specific candidates to get elected and for specific policies to be enforced that will be funded by taxpayer dollars. If you work in an electrician's union or an auto workers union or whatever it might be, you're working with private entities, maybe some public entities certainly, but you're not being paid for by public dollars. You can't have people taking money out of
public dollars. Once that money is deposited into that person's paycheck, it's that person's money. It's not the taxpayer's money.
I know, but the money that doesn't, I got to get to a break here, Rick. Thanks for calling. The money that doesn't go into the paycheck because it's taken out, just like your health insurance premium gets taken out or whatever else, if your wages are being garnished or whatever it might be, those dollars go to the union out of your paycheck. Not anymore, because Mark Janus just basically said what's up with the Supreme Court's help. Those dollars come out of your paycheck without your permission. It's a requirement. They go into the public union, into the coffers, into AFSCME, into the IEA, into the NEA, whatever it might be. And once they are there, those unions get to use those dollars to influence campaigns and policy. And if you have a candidate that promises that they'll raise taxes so that they can fund more things that benefit unions or teachers or whatever, they're playing with house money. And that house money is my house money. It's not the individual's money that they're playing with or the business's money. It's house money. It's state money. And that state money is taxpayer money. And that's a problem. There is a difference between private unions and public unions. There is a difference between negotiating with one's own money and negotiating with taxpayer dollars. There's a huge difference in that. And Mark Janus definitely won one for the First Amendment today with that Supreme Court. What a great song.
Great song.
What time is it? 12:57. Mark Lauder from the RNC, who's always a great guest. He's going to come on and talk to us a little bit about the word we're hearing a lot right now, which is rhetoric between the left and the right. How do we continue to move forward in this type of a climate, and what does the RNC have to think about it? So we'll talk to Mark Lauder coming up next. Tweet at me, at Annie Frey Show. We'll be right back. 314-241-9797 if you'd like to phone in as well. We'll be right back.
Life your goal, and surely something's gotta come to you.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Say it's all right.
Get started on your home's to-do list. Is your siding cracked, faded, and rotting? Tired of putting a Band-Aid on your home? Now through June 30th, Lakeside Exteriors is offering you 18 months interest-free financing or free gutters with the purchase of siding, soffit, and fascia. Give your home the facelift it deserves from professionals you know and trust. And call Lakeside Exteriors at 636-978-5000 or visit us at lakesideexteriors.com. Lakeside Exteriors, helping you create your dream home.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jay Omis with Better Sleep STL. Most people are unaware that breathing disorders can affect children as well as adults. Mouth breathing and the lack of proper sleep can have negative effects on a child's development, performance in school, extracurricular activities, and social relationships. Signs and symptoms in children may include snoring or heavy breathing, difficulty falling asleep at night or staying awake during the day, ADHD-type mood behavior, recurrent ear infections, crooked teeth, and even bedwetting. The good news is there are early treatment options available to remedy pediatric sleep disorders, including permanent corrective dental treatments, allowing your child to get a better night's rest and a healthy start in their development. In addition, my office is one of just a few facilities certified in the safest, most effective treatments to naturally promote pediatric airway growth and development. For more information, please contact me today at 636-978-0800 888-0226 or visit HealthyStartUSA.com to schedule your child's complimentary evaluation.
Head to Mid-America Arms. From firearms to accessories, you won't find a better selection in Mid-America, including guns, rifles, knives, ammo, holsters, cases, and more. From Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Benelli, Sig Sauer, and others. Ask their no-commission sales assistants about their trade-in policy, transfers, rebates, and info about concealed carry and basic firearms training. Mid-America Arms, 8205 Gravois Road, and at MidAmericaArms.com. That's MidAmericaArms.com.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in St. Louis? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the St. Louis area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. St. Louis is a perfect market for my system, and this week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000 right now because this free ticket offer expires this Friday. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
Powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
FM News Talk 97.1,
a radio.com station.
This is a Fox News alert. Immigration reform fails again. I'm Lisa Brady. And this time it wasn't even close for a revised bill in the House. 301 to 121. Fox's Jared Halpern, live on Capitol Hill.
The Republican compromise measure divided the GOP, dozens voting no, along with every Democrat. This bill receiving less support than a more conservative proposal that was defeated last week. This latest GOP immigration bill was designed to create a path to citizenship for dreamers, young immigrants brought to the country illegally as children, but also included new limits to legal immigration and provided $25 billion for a southern border wall. This morning, President Trump tweeted his support and urged House Republicans to pass it, despite its unlikely success in the Senate. Lisa.
Well, thanks, Jared. Meantime, Vice President Mike Pence, who's visiting Central America, says he plans to send a message that the wave of mass immigration from the region is unacceptable and that Guatemala and others need to do more about the conditions that lead families to flee. Along the Texas border, protesters outside a detention center in Tornillo. The death of a woman hit by a motorist during a protest against white nationalists in Charlottesville, Virginia, is now a federal hate crimes case. Fox's Gernal Scott has this live.
Lisa, James Alex Fields faces a total of 30 hate crimes charges as announced by the U.S. Justice Department, the most serious resulting in the death of Heather Heyer, hit and killed by Fields' car during the rally last August in Charlottesville. The remaining hate crimes charges were connected to the other people in the crowd that were injured. Attorney General Jeff Sessions, in a statement, said Fields' actions cut short a promising life and shocked the nation. The new federal charges filed against Fields are in addition to a state murder charge already against him, Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. Stocks turning lower. The Dow's now down 3 points. Fox News, fair and balanced.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Time starts now. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat? Where can you find the answers to these questions?
Car crashes are one of the leading killers of U.S. children. Many of those deaths could be prevented by making sure that kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
97.1 News Time 103. Good afternoon. I'm Tony Colombo. A suspicious substance delivered to Senator Maria Chappelle Nadal's office in April has been identified as rat poison by Jefferson City Police. Authorities were unable to determine where or who the package came from. A warning for suspicious packages has been added to a text-based emergency notification system used by lawmakers. The city of Ferguson will continue to prosecute about 1,500 municipal court cases that attorneys filed before 2014, a decision that worries advocates who say they were a product of a policing system the federal government found unconstitutional. Ferguson City Attorney Apollo Carey said that court officials had reviewed about 7,900 of those older cases since December. The National Weather Service has posted a heat advisory from 11 a.m. tomorrow till 10 p.m. Saturday for the St. Louis area. Temperatures are expected to reach 98 on Friday and 96 on Saturday. A heat index of 105 or higher is likely in the afternoon on Friday and Saturday as well. This news update brought to you by Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best in fences, decks, patios, and sunrooms.
Stop your back or knee pain without surgery or medications. Learn how an insurance-covered slim-fitting knee or back brace can help. Free delivery, 800-616-KNEE. 800-616-KNEE. 800-616-KNEE.
At SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, our patients and families often talk about the Glennon Factor, what Glennon gives to our patients. Glennon gives hope for a new day, healing in time of illness, faith to the brokenhearted, compassion for the injured. Our caregivers take that extra step, revealing God's healing presence to all they serve. Join us in providing hope and healing for our patients. Give to Glennon at glennon.org.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
It's the Ace Red, White, and Blue sale. The perfect time to buy a grill from our exclusive lineup of premium brands, like the latest from Weber, Traeger, and more. And right now, get free assembly and free delivery on our top grill brands, $3.99 and up. Get the right grill delivered right to your house. Hurry in before it ends. The Red, White, and Blue sale only at Ace. Offer valid for Ace Rewards members only through July 9th. See participating store for scheduling and details.
On the streets of Miami, speed is the law. So when a corn dog goes after the wrong girl...
Oh, heartburn!
One man will bring her Tums Ultra Strength.
I'm on my way.
Don't get wrecked by heartburn. Nothing works faster than Tums.
Your mustard's fast, but my Tums are faster.
And with Tums on-the-go rolls, it's never been easier to leave heartburn behind.
You did it.
Yeah. You gonna finish that corn dog?
Tums Ultra Strength, available in a store near you.
You've heard that mortgage rates are rising after a decade of historic lows. You think you've missed your chance to buy new. Not with Lombardo Homes. Purchase a Lombardo Quick Close home now and receive a 3.75% fixed rate mortgage on Quick Close homes and $3,000 towards closing costs. Or if you're buying a new built home, Keller Williams' The Wilson Group will list your current home at the reduced rate of 3.5% and give you $3,000 in closing costs. But hurry, you can only score this jackpot of an offer if you purchase in June. Visit LombardoHomes.com for more information. Certain qualifications and restrictions apply.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the Radio.com app, available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the Radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
FM News Talk 97.1.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I think that the institution has to take a stance. That's what the framers in the Constitution said. You know, you have to police yourself. And I think just making individual comments, like many of us have said, this is repugnant, just doesn't do it, because she has indicated since she made her initial comments that she doesn't see anything wrong with them, that she doesn't have any remorse, no regrets, and she's going to continue to encourage this kind of in-your-face harassment of people who support President Trump and work on his staff. I mean, I see visions of the Elaine Chao incident. Now for Pete's sakes, we have a press secretary that has to have a security detail.
I had some questions on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Andy Frey Show, about whether or not she had a private security detail to begin with. I'm actually kind of surprised that she didn't. But yep, now we have Sarah Sanders getting her own private security, and we have to react to this world that we are in perpetual motion, where there's so much divisiveness, there's so much separation in where we see things. We can't even see each other across the bow from where we differ from one another. Going back to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who wins in New York over Joe Crowley, who has been in office for 20 years. And she ran as a socialist. She ran as somebody who was very outwardly, very progressive, very far left. There's no like trying to veil your crazy left wing natures or your crazy right wing natures, whatever that might be anymore. It's something that you champion. Listen to her here.
I think that really, we won because we organized. We won because I think we had a very clear winning message, and we took that message to doors that had never been knocked on before. We spoke to communities that had typically been, I think, dismissed. And they responded. When people feel like they are being spoken directly to, I do feel like they are willing. They'll do things like turn out in an off-year midterm primary.
It is true. I think she did tap into something important there. Now the question will be, can she replicate it in November? It's an increasingly very, very liberal district that she's in. So you would think that if you aren't paying a whole lot of attention to who the candidates are, which many people don't when they go to vote, they're going to say, oh, Democrat, yeah, I'll vote for her. But it is quite something to have a leftist message like hers to want to, openly she talks about abolishing ICE. She doesn't want to have any border security in that regard. She wants to guarantee federal jobs. Sounds nice. She wants to provide universal health care for everyone. And I think it's very key that we watch where the leftists are headed. I cannot think of a Democrat right now that gets to be front and center of the Democratic movement. There isn't one. Hillary Clinton was it. And there was no grooming of the next individual because Hillary Clinton was the one who was poised to take over. And she failed. And they're so far away from understanding the American people, the middle class, flyover country individual, the Rust Belt worker, the folks in the South, the folks in the North Central United States. What they cater to is the big city Democrat. Just like we heard the other day, Hillary Clinton talking about, we'll talk about the Electoral College later. She's going to take that on, of course, again. They don't understand how she could have lost, but their solution to a Hillary Clinton defeat is a 28-year-old self-professed socialist to take out a 10 election winning veteran, Joe Crowley. Okay, we're watching. I got the popcorn. Mark Lauder joins us right now from the RNC to talk a little bit about the rhetoric that exists right now between the left and the right. Mark, thanks for coming on. It's been quite a week, a lot going on, but the Maxine Waters comments after the Sarah Sanders incident at the Red Hen, it definitely heatens up the entire scenario around every issue that we're talking about. What do you think about it?
It really is telling when Sarah has to become the first press secretary in many people's memories in the last few decades to actually have Secret Service protection because of the threats and that have been made. We've seen it against Leader McConnell and his wife, Secretary Chow. It really needs everyone needs to tone it down and remember we're all Americans. We can agree to disagree, and we can also do it in an agreeable fashion.
How are the Republicans going to meet that expectation? Because we can only, each individual, not necessarily even as a party, but we can only take care of our own actions and try to lead by example. But you have the Maxine Waters of the world out there talking about crowding people out and pushing them back and harassing them in their home. What is the Republican response to something like that, and how do you put it into action?
Well, I think we need to confront it when people especially in a position of power say these things, and it needs to be called out. And the Republican Party has done that, and including some leaders in the Democratic Party. But what we also need to do is make sure that we hold our own accountable. And I'll tell you, I was on Fox this morning on Fox Business, and I saw Governor Huckabee, Sarah Sanders' father, talking about this issue, and someone had apparently thrown some animal excrement on the restaurant door that had kicked Sarah out earlier last weekend.
Yeah.
And he called for that person to be identified and charged. And I'm reading this afternoon that they have identified who's done it, and they have taken action. So if they were from the right, then they were wrong. And from either side, they were wrong. But I'm glad to see that they're taking that step, because there's other ways for us to have our disagreements, and we can do so. We can talk about it, and we can remember that we're all still neighbors. We're all still Americans.
Mm-hmm. Mark, one of the things that I get the most on my show here from people who aren't of the Republican Party is they all point back to Bill Clinton. Donald Trump. It always comes back to President Trump. It's Trump's fault. He's the one who broke the rhetoric. Is this something? Is the heightened rhetoric new? And does President Trump own some responsibility for the discourse right now in our country?
Well, I think we have seen a steady decline in discourse in many recent years. I can go back and remember things being shouted at former President George W. Bush, especially by some of the people who disagreed with some of the decisions in terms of war and Iraq and the loss of life there, where people were shouting and marching and protesting and horrible things. And we have a history of doing this. I mean, we go back to the 60s, we go back to the 70s, but we also have a history of protest throughout our entire nation. But we can do so in a way that remains civil, and that's the key. We saw widely condemned. There was a House member, I remember, who shouted an inappropriate comment at President Obama when he was in office, and he was widely scorned for doing so. And so it's something that's not new. It's devolving, and we've got to get a handle on it. And I hope that when we can start having this discussion again, when people see the extremes that folks have gone to, especially on the left, but there are also elements on the Republican side as well, but especially on the left, they've gone off the deep end right now, and some people call it Trump derangement syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that the Democrats, as they move to the left, move towards socialism, they've got to get a handle on that, because if anything, it's going to drive people away. And I'm from the Midwest too, and people in the Midwest that's not how we think.
No, it's absolutely, you're exactly right. Folks here in St. Louis and in our listening area definitely just see things different. While I've got you on the phone right now, Mark Lauder, we're getting some very big news right now. Justice Kennedy has announced he has plans to retire. The implications of elections continue to pay dividends with President Trump in there, and for him to have another opportunity to appoint another justice. What's your reaction to that?
I mean, obviously, I want to thank Justice Kennedy for his service, even though there were many times I didn't agree with his decisions, but he served our country for over 3 decades on the nation's highest court. Was appointed originally under President Reagan, and so I thank him for the service. But this is huge, and what we have seen just in the last 2 days, whether it is on the travel ban or ruling against a California state law that required religious healthcare providers and organizations to They were required to advocate for abortion in California, which the court struck down.
Mm-hmm.
Today they had the big ruling which said that people can't be forced to join a union if they don't want to, or be forced to pay dues, even when they're not members, for the public sector. Those are big decisions. It's because of Justice Gorsuch and the other conservatives on the bench. And so having the president have the ability to send another Supreme Court justice in such a short time, we've already seen the transformation that he's done with the federal judiciary by just appointing all of these judges, the Senate confirming them. This will be another lasting legacy of the president that will serve for decades beyond his time in office.
Yes, he's retiring effective July 31st. Justice Kennedy has announced that he will be retiring from the Supreme Court. He is the first justice to retire since 2010. Obviously, we replaced a justice with Gorsuch from his passing, but it's very key to win these elections to make sure that you have the constitutionality solidified in the Supreme Court, and these elections is the Senate. Certainly, in the midterms, will have a huge implication as well.
I think it'll take a starring role in your election there in Missouri. I mean, we already know how far out of touch Claire McCaskill is on many issues like tax cuts and some of the other things. But here's going to be another opportunity, and whether the vote is before the election or after the election, I would assume that it would be before. Where is Claire McCaskill going to be? We already know where she is, that she doesn't believe we should have tax cuts. And she's against many of the other things like strong borders and things that the president's talking about. Here will be another example to see where she falls, and people will need to keep an eye on it.
Yes, Justice Kennedy, very much so known as a swing vote on the court. This is a very, very big opportunity for President Trump to appoint this and to obviously be approved in the Senate, and we will continue to watch that. So glad to have you on here when we get that big news that Justice Kennedy has announced his retirement. Mark Lauder with the RNC, thank you for your insight on this. We're going to continue to watch the news. It just happens so fast these days.
Absolutely. Always good to be on with you.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. Wow. Big news. Justice Kennedy is going to retire effective July 31st. Again, he's the first to retire since 2010. So he made a decision. He's going to retire under Trump's administration. And certainly there are other justices that have been discussed about retiring or staying, but Kennedy was certainly the one that everybody was watching. So that news coming out today is very big. We're going to get your reaction to that coming up next. If you'd like to call in, 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. If you've been listening to my show, especially back when it was on Saturdays from 5 to 7 p.m. here on 97.1, during the campaign, I frequently said, the reason I'm voting for President Trump and the reason I have no fear in doing so is because of the Supreme Court. Because the president will nominate at least one judge. We knew for sure that he would have one that he would be able to appoint. And it can't be Hillary Clinton. Think about the implication of 2016 right now. We have a Neil Gorsuch. We have another seat coming open. What does that look like in Hillary's America? I'm so happy that President Trump won. Today is another reason why we can thank President Trump for making America great again and continuing to watch what he's going to do here. The news just keeps rolling. That Supreme Court case also coming down today, the Janice v. Asks Me. We just talked to Mark Janice in the last hour. You can catch that on demand at 971talk.com/Annie as well. So stay tuned. Your phone calls coming up. A lot more coming up here on the Annie Frey Show. Also, Peter Pfeiffer. He'd like to be that Senate candidate that takes Claire McCaskill out. He's going to be in studio at 2 p.m. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Kentucky, the place where I was born and raised.
Stay in touch and up to date with the 97.1 newsletter, delivered straight to your inbox. Become a 97.1 Insider and you can receive our weekly newsletter, local and national breaking news alerts, plus exclusive offers from 97.1 advertisers. Don't miss out. Sign up now at 971talk.com.
Want to try Black Rifle coffee but don't want to order online? Tactical in St. Peter's has every flavor in whole bean, ground, and K-Cups. This is Sig Glockencolt. Black Rifle coffee is to coffee what Tactical is to Black Rifles. Just off Highway 70 in St. Peter's.
The Diamond Shop, right there in Clayton on Central Avenue, is such a friendly place to go in. But anytime you're going to go in to buy jewelry, depending on your experience in doing so, it can be kind of an intimidating process. But you also want to go in there, if you have a lot of experience buying jewelry, you want to make sure that you have the best quality, the best selection, and you want to have something that she's going to be able to put on her hand or around her neck that is going to be unique, just like she is. Maybe you're looking for a watch for yourself. Maybe you're looking for something that is going to be a gift, and you want to have something unique and affordable. Maybe it's not a four-figure purchase. All of these options are available to you at the Diamond Shop. They're going to treat you like family from the moment you come in. Tell them that you heard us or heard about them on the Annie Frey Show. Make sure you mention that because they're going to give you a free pair of pearl earrings with your purchase. 2 gifts instead of 1, or maybe something nice for you and some earrings for the gift. See what I'm saying here? There's a no pressure atmosphere there. They're comfortable. The experience is going to be so pleasant. You're going to be so happy you made the decision to shop at the Diamond Shop. You can visit them online at thediamondshop.net.
When it comes to supplying reliable energy across St. Louis, there's a name you can depend on. In St. Charles, it's Felicia. There's Tim up in Florissant and Karen down in Fenton. It's these names and many more throughout the communities they serve who have helped Ameren, Missouri make its own name as a reliable energy provider across the region. Dependable people generating energy their community can count on. That's energy at work. Learn more at amerenmissouri.com/reliability.
Frederick Roofing, wherever you live, from Chesterfield to Crestwood, Frontenac to Ferguson, Lima to Ladue, Town and Country and more. Warson Woods to Winsville, the one you know. Frederick Roofing, wherever you go. For a hole in your roof, for a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000. Aren't you tired of hearing ads that say they're the best, they're the experts, blah, 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 just one unsubstantiated claim after another? Well, here are 2 substantiated claims that actually mean something if you need roof repair or a new roof. With a family-owned business tradition of over 80 years and 80,000 satisfied customers, you can depend on Frederick Roofing, residential or commercial.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. The 2018 real estate market is hot and homes are selling fast. If you think you're the only person watching those same homes in the same neighborhoods, you're dead wrong. How do I know? Because we're pre-approving them in record numbers. Don't be the only offer on the table without a pre-approval letter from thehomeloanexpert.com. If you're even considering buying a home this year, get pre-approved today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, Missouri and Illinois residential mortgage licensee.
Are you putting your retirement savings in a 401k, IRA, or investment account? Then I have one word of advice. Stop. Many experts warn of a stock market crash any day now. And if it's anything like the last 2 crashes, you could lose 50% or more of your hard-earned savings in the Wall Street casino. Can you afford to lose half of your retirement savings again? Hey, you don't have to lose a penny because there's a better, safer way to save for retirement. And you can learn all about it in a free report. This is the report Wall Street and big banks desperately hope you never see. Why? Because this method continues to grow your money even when the market tumbles. It lets you take back control of your money and finances, and it gives you penalty-free access to your savings. Plus, it beats the pants off any 401k or IRA. These are uncertain times, so get the information you need today to guarantee your retirement security. To get this free report, go to bankonyourself.com right now. That's bankonyourself.com. Bankonyourself.com.
Sean Hannity.
All right, it's safe to say Trump derangement syndrome is now reaching new levels. Breitbart reporting a recent spike in support for President Trump has one polling company actually rejecting their own research.
Weeknights 7 to 9
on FM News Talk 97.1. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Find the podcast on demand and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
The news is really hopping today, especially out of the Supreme Court. We have a Janus victory in Janus v. Ask Me. That's a win for public workers who are not wanting to have their union fees just taken out of their paychecks. But the big news of the day is that Trump, he's going to talk in just a minute about the announcement that Justice Kennedy will be retiring as of July 31st. President Trump will have the opportunity to nominate another justice to the Supreme Court, which means there's going to be a lot of drama headed towards us that way. And remember, the rules have changed when it comes to approving a Supreme Court justice. They changed the rules for Gorsuch, and that 60-vote majority to get out of filibuster is not in play. So the majority is what is needed in order to approve the next Supreme Court justice. And right now, the Republicans do have that majority. Will they vote on this before the election or after the election? I can't imagine that they would wait. And it doesn't. The way I understand it, since the filibuster is out of play, there really is nothing that the Democrats can do to stop it. The question will be, as Frank pointed out over the break, you have to make sure that you have a justice that is palatable to all the Republicans. We have some very moderate Republicans in the Senate, like Elisa Murkowski, like Susan Collins, who are unwilling to do things like, say, defund Planned Parenthood. They have voted against legislation that the Republicans were in favor of as a whole, and because of their pro-choice leanings, they have voted down other legislation. So we will have to see. And that was when we had a Jeff Sessions before the special election when the Republicans lost that seat and John McCain won't be there. So we'll have to see how this unfolds.
If a Republican pulls shenanigans
on
a Supreme Court nominee.
But I mean, the only thing that I think we can expect anymore is the unexpected.
Yeah, that's true.
And what ends up being given in exchange for the support for something like that. It'll be a very interesting thing to happen. I guess it'll probably happen in August.
I would like to just put out there publicly
you want to be the
I'm
justice?
available. Yes.
You get paid in Tony Bucks?
Columbo Bucks?
Columbo Bucks.
Tony Bucks was something we're working on, though. That could be a new one.
Yeah.
Because Columbo Bucks have tanked recently. Yeah, we were out riding real high there for a while. And
anybody immediately strike you as this should be the person, this should be the man, this should be the woman? What about Judge Janine? I've heard people suggest her.
What about
Napolitano?
What about Cruz?
Ted Cruz, Trey Gowdy.
His list of nominees will come from that list of 25 that he released before Neil Gorsuch.
Yeah.
Trump has already said that. His nominee
Today?
will
He
come
said that?
from that list.
If you watched,
we're waiting for this tape here to come in.
We're
Fox
waiting
News
to hear
Sunday
President
always does
speak.
this. Chris Wallace always does his Power Player of the Week. Last week, very predicting, he talked to a person that they call the Supreme Court Whisperer, and it's a guy who many presidents have gone to for advice on, and
guidance.
He was a key in the Gorsuch nomination, and I barely paid attention to that interview last week. And I think I'm going to go back and watch it. Because,
now I need to dig that up.
Yeah, because, I don't know if he mentioned any possible future justice during that interview, but if he did, then that would be somebody that you should definitely pay a lot of attention to, because apparently this guy has a lot of influence on the president and
he knows what
the
he's
judges.
talking about.
Yes.
I mean, the rulings that we've had come out here in the last few days are big rulings, and they're 5-4 decisions. The one today, the Janus case, that was a 5-4 decision. If Hillary appoints a justice and it's not Gorsuch, how's How's that case end up? Because I don't think it ends up the same.
Oh, there's a whole article about how Neil Gorsuch specifically was such a big thing in the Janice case that happened today, because a few months ago the Supreme Court heard a very similar case, and it was after the death of Scalia and before Gorsuch's appointment, so it ended in a 4-4 tie.
And Scalia had been a part of it, and he died before it was ruled on and had written on it.
So what happened today in the Supreme Court with that Janice case is
it's the decider.
Perfect example of how important Supreme Court justices are. All you have to do is look at what happened today
and the ability
to make that case,
to nominate them. And for me, it's the arc of my support for this president is rising and rising and rising. It was like I was definitely at the very, very beginning after President Trump got the nomination. I was in the Ozarks during so you going to speak? Mitch McConnell? Okay, go ahead.
For his ardent defense of the First Amendment and the First Amendment's right to political speech. As Justice Kennedy concludes his tenure on the court, we wish him, his wife Mary, and their family every happiness in the years ahead. The Senate stands ready to fulfill its constitutional role by offering advice and consent on President Trump's nominee to fill this vacancy. We will vote to confirm Justice Kennedy's successor this fall. As in the case of Justice Gorsuch, senators will have the opportunity to meet with President Trump's nominee, examine his or her qualifications, and debate the nomination. I have every confidence in Chairman Grassley's conduct of the upcoming confirmation process in the Judiciary Committee. It's imperative that the President's nominee be considered fairly and not subjected to personal attacks. Thus far, President Trump's judicial nominations have reflected a keen understanding of the vital role that judges play in our constitutional order. Judges must interpret the law fairly and apply it even-handedly. Judicial decisions must not flow from judges' personal philosophies or preferences, but from an honest assessment of the words and actual meaning of the law. This bedrock principle has clearly defined the President's excellent choices to date. So we'll look forward to yet another outstanding selection, but today the Senate and the nation thank Justice Kennedy for his years of service on the bench and for his many contributions to jurisprudence and to our nation.
Mitch McConnell speaking there on the Senate floor. And the big news out of what he said there is that they will vote on a nominee, President Trump's nominee, in the fall. Which means that by August we will...
Before the November elections.
The key is it's going to happen before we have an election. Here it comes, folks. The Democrats are going to scream, hypocrisy, hypocrisy.
It better be. Which the Democrats would too. I mean,
it's not the same.
I would.
But it's not the same, and this is why. The person doing the appointing is the same before and after the elections.
Right.
The group that is confirming will be different.
Right.
So when President Trump is the guy who's going to be doing the appointing, unless maybe you're on the left and you think, well, after we have our blue wave and the House goes blue and we impeach the president, then we could have said Democrat.
Can you imagine what a circus it would be if it was a Democrat majority in the Senate and President Trump was trying to appoint a Supreme Court justice?
It wouldn't get filled.
It would go on forever.
Yeah. There is no,
because even if he was like, oh crap, and then and like lowered it, like really put up like a moderate with a slight conservative lean, just as moderate as he could stomach,
which is what Kennedy was as a swing vote.
They would still. There's no way they would vote for
the key with the Democrats today, the party of the left today, is dedicated to one thing: Trump failure. Anything that equates a victory for President Trump, no matter how small, no matter how big, anything that equates a victory, they cannot participate in. They have to make sure that they are always focused on one thing, and that's tripping the president up, big or small. The Russia collusion, the insurance policy, if you will, that was supposed to be the end of the game for President Trump. Remember, what do you do with an insurance policy? You invest in it and you hope you never have to use it. That's what an insurance policy is. And when folks like Peter Strzok, who's testifying today, I don't know if is it technically testifying? He's in like a question and answer. It's not under oath. And there will be more questionings happening in the future.
And the fact that it's private is just crap.
The president is speaking.
Justice Anthony, you know who I'm talking about. Justice Kennedy will be retiring, and he's a man that I've known for a long time and a man that I've respected for a long time. He's been a great justice of the Supreme Court. He is a man who is displaying great vision. He's displayed tremendous vision and tremendous heart, and he will be missed, but he will be retiring, and we will begin our search for a new justice of the United States Supreme Court that will begin immediately. And hopefully we're going to pick somebody who will be as outstanding. So I just want to thank Justice Kennedy for the years of tremendous service. He's a very spectacular man, really a spectacular man. And I know that he will be around hopefully for a long time to advise, and I believe he's going to be teaching and doing other things. So thank you to Justice Kennedy. Okay. Thank you.
He could be teaching and doing other things.
Who will you pick to replace him?
I think it's time for him to just...
Well, we have obviously numerous people. We have a list of 25 people.
I don't think he's going to answer that question right now.
I had to 20, and as you know, I added 5
right.
A little while ago. We have a very excellent list of great talented, highly educated, highly intelligent, hopefully tremendous people. I think the list is very outstanding. When I was running, I put down a list of 20 people because, not being a politician, I think people wanted to hear what some of my choices may be, and it was pretty effective. And I think you see the kind of quality that we're looking at when you look at that list. But I added 5 additional people to the list. So it will be somebody from that list. So we have now boiled it down to about 25 people.
And sir, when did you find out?
The World Cup with President Putin to the final?
Yes, no, I will tell you, we fought very hard to get it here.
We're going to continue to monitor the president's words here and take a quick break. John Cass is going to join us from the Chicago Tribune coming up next to talk to us about that Janus victory that the Supreme Court ruled today and the implication it's going to have on the state of Illinois and that governor over there who had something to do with this case. So he's going to lay that out for us on the line as well. So if you hadn't heard yet, if you're wondering what all the hubbub is, Justice Kennedy has announced his retirement effective July 31st, and Mitch McConnell has said that they will vote on President Trump's nominee, which the president has said that they are working on immediately. They will vote on it in the fall, before the election. Lots more follow-up on this as soon as we come back at Annie Frey Show on Twitter. We'll be right back.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
All the active weather of the last couple of days now kicking off to the east. 92 will do it for the high this afternoon. The humidity will be able to cut with a knife. Tonight, clear skies. 75 for the overnight low. 80s for evening plans. Thursday through Sunday, sunny, hot, and humid. 95 to 100 degrees each day. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show, live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Is your home ready for spring? Do you have an air cleaner ready to tackle spring allergies? Have you scheduled your air conditioner tune-up yet? Get in your comfort zone this spring for heating and cooling and more. Visit aircomfortservice.com. It's going to be something crazy like 100 degrees this weekend is what I've been hearing. It's going to be really, really hot. You don't want to get caught in your home and find out that HVAC unit that you have isn't working. Air Comfort Services, they are ready to take care of any emergency service that you might need. They understand that emergencies happen. So if it's on the weekend, if it's outside of business hours, they're right there with their certified technicians to assess the situation. And you can trust them to tell you what you need, not what they want you to buy. And then the other thing is if you've been looking to upgrade the unit, maybe it's running all the time and it's not really cooling well, or maybe sometimes it doesn't run at all. Whatever the situation might be, you want to put your HVAC system in the hands of Air Comfort Service. They've been around since 1969. They take their business very seriously and your satisfaction very seriously. They've got their family-owned business as a great foundation for wonderful customer service. They've cared very deeply about the success of their business, which is why it's been around since 1969. They offer financing, and they also provide free estimates on equipment. So you got nothing to lose. Get a hold of Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling at 314-513-0091 or visit them on the web at aircomfortservice.com.
Guys, Glover here for New Vodka, spelled N-U-E. It is the rising star of Texas. Everyone is all about Texas vodkas right now. I've been drinking Tito's for years. Just like Tito's, New Vodka is 6 times distilled, made from 100% corn, hugely rated, a 94 on our grapefruit vodka alone, but it's half the cost. So just as good, higher ratings on many occasions, half the cost. Find it at Schnucks, Total Wine & More, Lucas Liquor, and soon at Dearborg's and Shop and Save.
Are you ready for a grand adventure this summer? Get behind the wheel of a new Land Rover Discovery from Land Rover St. Louis. It's the perfect time to try something new and save more than $5,500 off MSRP on a brand new 2017 Discovery. That's a huge savings on a vehicle that has the power and capability to take you on your next adventure. At Land Rover St. Louis, a Plaza Motor Company on Olive Boulevard in Creve Coeur. Stock number HA043491, MSRP $71,264. See dealer for complete details.
A lot of nasal congestion, especially at night, facial pain, pressure.
Cynthia suffered for years with chronic sinus infections. She was fed up.
I was in my primary care physician's office and she was prescribing another course of antibiotics. And I think at that moment, I just thought, this is ridiculous. There has to be some other option.
She set an appointment with Dr. James Gould at the St. Louis Sinus Center. Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office called balloon sinuplasty.
I was home within a few hours and back to work the next morning. I could breathe so much easier, especially with activity and at night, being able to sleep a lot better. My energy level was increased, being a mom and being able to be more active with my little one. At least to me, that was the most important thing.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections? Set an appointment today with Dr. James Gould at the St. Louis Sinus Center. Call 314-449-8761. 449-8761. That's 449-8761.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply. Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in St. Louis? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the St. Louis area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. St. Louis is a perfect market for my system, and this week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000 right now because this free ticket offer expires this Friday. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
Hey guys, Glover here. Our next New Vodka Happy Hour event will be Wednesday at Yaya's Euro Bistro in Chesterfield from 6 to 8 p.m. New Vodka is made in the USA, distilled 6 times to create a super smooth and subtle flavor. You must be 21 to enjoy. Get event details at 971talk.com.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app. Available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
FM News Talk 97.1. This is the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Find the podcast, on demand, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Don't want to end up a cartoon in a cartoon graveyard. Bone digger, dogs in the moonlight. Far away, my well-lit door. Mr. Beer Melly, get these mutts away from me, you know. I don't find this stuff amusing anymore. If you'll be my bodyguard, I can be your long lost pal.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Huge day in the news cycle today. Justice Kennedy has announced his retirement. That is hugely impactful for this president to be able to appoint another Supreme Court justice. But we have seen the impact of his previous appointee in Neil Gorsuch today, specifically in this case, this Janice versus Ask Me case. And joining us now on the air is John Cass from the Chicago Tribune. John, thank you so much for coming on. We've been kind of working back and forth with you, waiting for this ruling to come out. And what's your thoughts after we find out that Janice has a victory here after the Supreme Court ruling?
Well, let's see. By the way, thank you, Annie, and thanks to all the listeners who are tuning into this. Here in behind the iron blue curtain here in Chicago, where we have the boss Democrats running things and eating Illinois bit by bit. If I were a Democrat today, I wouldn't feel too good.
That's for sure.
I'm thinking, and again, I'm a conservative, and I don't know. Missouri's kind of more normal than Illinois in that respect. I'm kind of like on a lowly conservative on a sugar cookie floating in a sea of liberal media milk.
Yeah, so I understand how you feel.
Anybody wants to tune in, listen or read the column or listen to the podcast, you're welcome. But let's see, here's the Democrats' problem. They've got Maxine Waters as their spokesman. She's the poster child now. So if you go to see Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, chances are you could get spit upon if you don't, go along with it. The second thing is Janice. Janice is devastating to the public, the relationship between the public workers' unions, who lean very far to the left politically, and the Democratic Party, which raises your taxes to pay for them, pay for their deals, and then get support in exchange. Mm-hmm. Even Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the most pro-labor union president we've ever had, did not like the public workers' unions involved in politics and didn't want them to be around. He saw the ethical problems there. And the third thing, now you have Trump able to pick another Supreme Court justice. What do you think? Should he wait about 30 seconds or a minute? Because I think he should probably do it like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Make the change, make the vote, get it done, do it.
Mitch McConnell has said that they will vote on it in the fall, so we should have. Yeah, well, we're going to have to get it done quickly. But regarding the Janice case, I talked about this a little bit earlier in the show. We actually had Mark Janice on the show to give his quick take on it. He didn't have a whole lot of time, but we appreciated the time we did have with him. And I got some calls that were saying that it's not fair to tie unions and the money that comes out for union dues to any type of political contributions. I did a quick search here, and on opensecrets.org, in 2016, the NEA, which is the National Education Association, that's the National Teachers Union, the NEA donated a whopping $347,000 to Republicans, $347,000 to Republicans, and $2.8 million to Democrats. Like, need I say any more?
It's not only the money, and I understand the union argument. They're saying, we're not charging you dues, we're just charging them fair share so we can represent them in contract. But, of course, anything that a public workers union does politically is political. So by nature, Justice Alito understood it to be a First Amendment case, which is what it was. You can't coerce someone's First Amendment rights away from them as a condition of employment. That's just not what we do in this country yet. We don't do it yet. Bernie Sanders is not president yet. So good point there. Good point.
Yeah. So Governor Rauner had some involvement in this case. Can you kind of lay out what this means for him, his legacy in the state of Illinois? It's a little, especially down here in the southern portion of the state, not so great down here when it comes to some of the other things that he's weighed in on. How does this ruling affect his legacy as governor?
Governor Rauner has a problem with conservatives. He signed, he basically went against their wishes and his own word and signed House Bill 40, which allowed for taxpayer-funded abortions. He said he wouldn't do it. He did it. Then he signed Sanctuary State, pardon me. And so conservatives left him. But before they left, back in the good old days when they were, together, about 2 weeks after he was elected governor, Bruce Rauner signed an executive order stopping the taking of fees from non-union members who were government workers. And then he filed a lawsuit in federal court. He was basically removed from that lawsuit because he wasn't one of the workers. He didn't have standing in that respect. And so Janus was put in. And conservative groups like the Illinois Opportunity Project and the Illinois Policy Institute, they took it forward. Since that time of taking it forward, they've fallen out somewhat. Although John Tillman of the IPI was with Rauner on the steps of the Supreme Court this week. So can they put the broken toy back together again? I don't know. Will this decision by the Supreme Court have any kind of weakening effect on the unions before November? I don't think so. It'll take some time. But in the intervening time, Rauner should be signing executive orders telling people they don't have to join the union if they don't want to, and they'll still get benefits, the same benefits they were getting before. And the unions will fight back, and it'll be part of a media war back and forth. But the question is, can he get conservatives back on his side before J.B. Pritzker and Boss Madigan, who really runs the Democratic Party in all the state, begin to eat Illinois like some cake? And I don't know if it'll happen that way. It should have some effect nationally for the 2020 elections. You'll see that as you saw what happened in New York with Crowley. The Democrats are moving farther and farther to the left, and they're relying more and more on the public workers' unions to do that. And we'll see how that affects them. But locally in Illinois for November, I don't know. It's an uphill climb for Rauner.
Well, we will definitely continue to follow it. I know a lot of people call in here and ask me what I'm going to do. I supported Jeannie Ives pretty strongly, and I said
Me too.
Governor Rauner has until November to earn my vote. He hasn't done it yet, but there's still time. Do something to earn my vote. John Cass, you can follow him on Twitter at John_Cass and follow all of his articles and everything there. Love having you on. We want to get you back on again as well. Thanks for coming on today. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, you bet. I love hearing these hardcore-sounding Chicago conservatives. What the heck is that? It's great. John writes some really great stuff. Again, that's at John_Cass. If you enjoyed him, tweet at him. Tell him you liked hearing him on this show. We'd appreciate that. You can tweet me at Annie Frey Show as well. That Senate seat in Missouri, the one that I can't wait to turn red, Peter Pfeiffer would like to fill that seat. He's going to join us in studio coming up next. PeterPfeiffer.com on the web. Anything you want me to ask him, make sure you tweet me at Annie Frey Show. We'll be right back.
Now that my role model is gone, he ducked back down the alley with some roly-poly little bat-faced girl all along.
Don't get stuck in neutral. Shift your retirement plan into overdrive with Your Retirement Highway with Ken Heisey and Steve Muller from the Heisey Advisory Group. Saturday nights at 7 on FM News Talk 97.1.
You've heard that mortgage rates are rising after a decade of historic lows. You think you've missed your chance to buy new. Not with Lombardo Homes. Purchase a Lombardo Quick Close home now and receive a 3.75% fixed rate mortgage on Quick Close homes and $3,000 towards closing costs. Or if you're buying a new build home, Keller Williams' The Wilson Group will list your current home at the reduced rate of 3.5% and give you $3,000 in closing costs. But hurry, you can only score this jackpot of an offer if you purchase in June. Visit LombardoHomes.com for more information. Certain qualifications and restrictions apply.
Real men in the area share their thoughts about dealing with erectile dysfunction.
Before visiting the St. Louis Men's Clinic, I had the same feelings about my ED as everyone. Insecurity, fear, anxiety, shame, depression. I felt like I just wasn't as much a man as I used to be. I'll tell you, it seems like ED doesn't have boundaries. At some point, it affects all men in some form or fashion. It doesn't mean you're any less of a man, it just means you have ED.
Lou tried wave therapy from the St. Louis Men's Clinic, the most advanced, non-invasive ED treatment available.
After my visit, there was a massive difference. The results were there immediately, and I'm back to a more regular sex life again.
Be like over 20,000 men in St. Louis who have taken control of their ED by calling the St. Louis Men's Clinic. Call today to schedule a $99 office visit. 314-282-2600. 314-282-2600.
I got to tell you, I thought I was out of the game, but the personalized treatment I received from the St. Louis Men's Clinic changed everything.
Are you putting your retirement savings in a 401k, IRA, or investment account? Then I have one word of advice. Stop. Many experts warn of a stock market crash any day now. And if it's anything like the last two crashes, you could lose 50% or more of your hard-earned savings in the Wall Street casino. Can you afford to lose half of your retirement savings again? Hey, you don't have to lose a penny because there's a better, safer way to save for retirement. And you can learn all about it in a free report. This is the report Wall Street and big banks desperately hope you never see. Why? Because this method continues to grow your money even when the market tumbles. It lets you take back control of your money and finances, and it gives you penalty-free access to your savings. Plus, it beats the pants off any 401k or IRA. These are uncertain times, so get the information you need today to guarantee your retirement security. To get this free report, go to bankonyourself.com right now. That's bankonyourself.com. Bankonyourself.com.
Looking for a solution to high real estate fees? Homeowners Alternative will list your home for as little as 1%. That's right, 1%. Take advantage of this outstanding seller's market. Homeownersalternative.com. Common sense real estate fees.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
Powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
FM News Talk, 97.1.
A radio.com station.
This is a Fox News alert. A Supreme Court retirement. I'm Lisa Brady. Justice Anthony Kennedy, who has been a key swing vote on the High Court, making his announcement just hours after the current session ended. Fox's Jared Halpern, live in Washington.
After more than 30 years as a justice, Anthony Kennedy is retiring beginning at the end of next month. Kennedy, for years, has been a swing vote on high-profile challenges to abortion, affirmative action, and same-sex rights. The 81-year-old justice just this week joined the majority upholding President Trump's travel ban. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says a vote on Kennedy's successor will happen this fall. President Trump says he'll nominate a justice from the same list he used to select Justice Neil Gorsuch last year. Lisa.
Jared, President Trump moments ago calling Kennedy's announcement a shocker and saying he'll be missed.
A man who is displaying great vision. He's displayed tremendous vision and tremendous heart.
He also describes nominating a Supreme Court justice as one of the most important decisions for the country.
I mean, you see the decisions that just came down, how big they are, how vital they are.
The president's comments coming during an Oval Office meeting with Portugal's president, where he also was asked about an upcoming summit planned with Russian President Vladimir Putin. National Security Advisor John Bolton, who is in Moscow to lay the groundwork, meeting with President Putin, announced an agreement for a summit earlier today.
Well, I think we'll be talking about Syria. I think we'll be talking about Ukraine. I think we'll be talking about many other subjects, and we'll see what happens. So you never know.
A Kremlin aide says Bolton, during his meetings, brought up election meddling and that Russia again denied it. Still awaiting a formal announcement on the agreed-to time and location of a summit. But recapping the breaking news from the U.S. Supreme Court, Justice Anthony Kennedy is retiring. The Senate plans a vote on a nominee this fall. Fox News, fair and balanced.
first opened about 10 years ago, we were small, just a few of us, but it was exciting. I always dreamt of having my own business. It was kind of slow at first, but things started picking up. We had big plans. But in our wildest dreams, we never thought we'd have this much work. Yeah, with so many businesses caught off guard by the storm, Reed Waste Management has never been busier.
What will become of your business after a disaster? Nearly 2/3 of businesses aren't prepared for an emergency, and 40% of businesses that experience a disaster never recover. Make an emergency plan now before it's too late. For a free online tool that helps you develop an emergency plan to keep your business up and running should disaster strike, visit ready.gov/business. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the American Red Cross, and the Ad Council.
97.1 News Time 2:03. Good afternoon. I'm Tony Colombo. The National Weather Service has posted a heat advisory from 11 a.m. tomorrow till 10 p.m. Saturday for the St. Louis area. Temperatures are expected to reach 98 on Friday and 96 on Saturday, and a heat index of 105 or higher is likely in the afternoon on Friday and Saturday as well. A suspicious substance delivered to Senator Maria Chappelle Nadal's office in April has been identified as rat poison by Jefferson City Police. Authorities were unable to determine where or who the package came from. A warning for suspicious packages is being added to a text-based emergency notification system used by lawmakers. The Illinois Racing Board moved a proposal forward yesterday to allow video gambling on historical horse racing, even as the board's attorney advised that the move would be illegal. The board voted 7-0 to form a committee to prepare rules to allow betting on historical horse racing to make up for lost revenue at racetracks. This news update brought to you by Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best in fences, decks, patios, and sunrooms.
At Meineke, they believe taking care of your car shouldn't take over your life. Gearing up for a summer road trip? Get your vehicle road trip ready with a free AC check or a $19.95 basic oil change at Meineke. Book your appointment online at Meineke.com. Meineke, on with life.
Hey, everybody, Smart Close for Brinton Vision. My lovely bride, Fern, of some 36 years, has had some vision problems for a while now. Kind of dull vision, some blurry stuff, couldn't see distances. So we started doing our homework, and we found Dr. Brinton. Fern went in, had a procedure done. She had a lens implant, okay? Dr. Brinton does 7 different procedures, LASIK and 6 others, all FDA approved. Fern went in, I think I told you, a 20-minute procedure. She came out and she was seeing things that she had literally never seen before. She'll go into our backyard. We've been in this house 3 years, and she'll start looking. I never really noticed that. I didn't notice that. Dr. Brinton is great. He will sit down with you and explain everything. No question is off. Anything you need. In fact, he'll say, if anything comes up after the meeting, please call me, ask the question. I want you to feel very secure about this. This is your site. BrintonVision.com. Call 314-375-2020.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
It's the Ace Red, White, and Blue sale. The perfect time to buy a grill from our exclusive lineup of premium brands, like the latest from Weber, Traeger, and more. And right now, get free assembly and free delivery on our top grill brands, $3.99 and up. Get the right grill delivered right to your house. Hurry in before it ends. The Red, White, and Blue sale only at Ace. Offer valid for Ace Rewards members only through July 9th. See participating store for scheduling and details.
On the streets of Miami, speed is the law. So when a corn dog goes after the wrong girl...
Oh, heartburn!
One man will bring her Tums Ultra Strength.
I'm on my way.
Don't get wrecked by heartburn. Nothing works faster than Tums.
Your mustard's fast, but my Tums are faster.
And with Tums on-the-go rolls, it's never been easier to leave heartburn behind.
You did it.
Yeah. You gonna finish that corn dog?
Tums Ultra Strength, available in a store near you.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the Radio.com app, available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the Radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
FM News Talk 97.1.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweet
goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We got a guest in studio right now, your tallest candidate for the Senate seat in Missouri. That's the way he introduced himself. Peter Pfeiffer joins us right now. Thanks for coming in.
Well, thanks for having me on, Annie. It's very nice to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you in. So there's a lot of hubbub right now about with the Supreme Court announcement that Justice Kennedy will be retiring as of July. And the Senate right now has a 51 majority, and that's not very big.
It's not very big. What an exciting news day. I'm glad to be here on such a momentous day.
It certainly is a big news.
And what the dissent say? Something about weaponizing the First Amendment? That's ridiculous. The left is completely imploding.
Yeah. So what is that seat? What do you think that the Claire McCaskill Senate seat means to Missouri? After we get out of the primary, if you happen to be the candidate that gets to face off Claire McCaskill, how do you better represent the Missouri voter than she does?
Well, my common experiences, I think, are more common with most Missourians than any other candidate. That's why I put my name on the ballot. I was sitting at home, minding my own business, looking at all the other candidates that had filed, and I said not one of them could represent me. And not one of them could represent most Missourians. I think my experiences are more common to Missouri than any other candidate on the ballot. And then what that seat means is that it's an opportunity to have Missourians represented. We know Claire McCaskill. We're all on the same page. Claire McCaskill is not doing a job of representing Missouri.
What are those experiences that make you feel as though you relate very well to the people who elect to send you there to represent them? Because ultimately, you were there on behalf of them.
Well, thank you for that question. I'm the only candidate on the ballot that's been in the private sector for 30 years. 20 of those 30 years, I've been a professional negotiator. I've born, raised, and educated right here in St. Louis. We all know that St. Louis is the economic generator of the state of Missouri. None of the other candidates understand what the Mississippi River is to us. I do. I'm also the only candidate that's been previously elected to serve as a legislator.
Yeah. So what does the Missouri voter want? When you think about the people of Missouri, whether they're in St. Louis or Jefferson City or Fenton or St. Charles or wherever they might be.
Or Hamilton or Forsyth.
There you go.
Or Taney County. I've been all over the state.
How do you represent all those folks?
Well, I think it's really simple. You have to start off with remembering that you are a representative of the people. Now, I've made my living for the past 20 years representing individuals. It's not a big jump to take that and represent more people. I think that my job, again, is as a senator would be very simple. Missouri, we're the show me state. It's a pretty simple motto. We're not complicated people. There are complicated candidates in this race. I'm not one of the complicated candidates. I think it is just keep it simple and do your best to represent the state of Missouri.
One of the reasons why the president had suggested maybe they'd put off the immigration vote is because he thought maybe it'd be better handled after the election takes place. The immigration is one of the hot topics in our country right now. It is definitely something that is very important to this president. Where do you stand on immigration, and how would you represent the people of Missouri with your vote?
Well, I think I'm like most Missourians, again, that we're all for immigration. We all realize that our families weren't born here, that we populate this country because of immigration. But we also want our borders to be our borders. We don't favor people breaking the laws and demanding rights that we have, that our families have earned, that make us citizens of the United States. Just because you come from somewhere else doesn't give you the right to our Constitution. So as far as immigration is concerned, I'm for legal immigration. I'm for shutting down the border as much as possible.
All right. Sounds good. What about other issues that Claire McCaskill has not been in favor of when it comes to the agenda of this president? President Trump won hugely in the state of Missouri. What do you think about this president? How's he doing?
Yeah, you'd think if the voters spoke by 20% margin that Claire McCaskill might listen. But, you've seen her out there on the I'm Not Listening tour and flying around on an airplane, Air Claire. I'm ready to clip the wings of Air Claire. There's no doubt in my mind how easy the job is to represent the state of Missouri. Again, these folks that are in D.C. And some folks that are even here in Jeff City, in particular one of the candidates that's running, are complicated by the money that's in the process. I'm shoestrings and I'm bootstraps. I'm making this campaign work, with friends and family and folks that have the same ideas that I have.
How do you plan on beating Claire McCaskill? She is a well-conditioned politician. She is well-funded. She knows how to win elections. She's done it multiple times. How do you take her down?
Well, it's you brought up money. So how much do votes cost? It's a great question. Votes don't cost anything. Votes are free. It doesn't matter if she has $13 million or not. We know her husband's taken $41 million in low-income housing tax credits. That was in her first 5 years as senator. She is not only complicated, she's complicit, and she's done a very bad job representing the state of Missouri. And she doesn't support the president that we voted for by over 20% margin here in the state of Missouri.
Do you think that when it comes to being a Republican or a Democrat right now, especially in this past week, but certainly not limited to this past week, the discourse in our country right now, politically speaking, is very heated. It's very ugly. It's very divided. I don't know if that really serves our purposes as a nation very well. And so the political climate, I think it makes a lot of people just turn their heads because they don't want to be a part of it. You obviously want to be a part of it. You want to represent other people. How do you represent yourself in this climate? How do you fight a fight to win an election without having to participate in the Maxine Waters kind of rhetoric, fight back against the Maxine Waters kind of rhetoric? How do we do that today?
Well, I think, it's a very interesting time. Obviously, our country had been lurching left for a while. 8 years of Obama and the House and the Senate being lined up with that agenda initially. But it's coming back to the right. And it's not very pretty to watch the sausage getting made. Mm-hmm. And not a lot of people have the stomach for it. But you know what? At the end of the day, we do end up having a palatable product. And this is the process we're engaged in right now. The sausage is being made. We decided that we didn't want what they were serving us. We want a different brand. And the Republican Party and the United States of America and the state of Missouri are leaning right and running right in some cases. And to be involved in that process is exciting. And again, for me, I just keep it simple. I'm born here, I'm raised here, I'm educated here. I know who I am. Nobody's in my pocket. I'm not in anybody else's pocket. So again, to keep it simple and to know that the Constitution is for all of us, not just some of us.
I'm looking at a tweet here from The Hill. And they tweeted out, CNN legal analyst predicts abortion will be illegal in 20 states soon after Kennedy retires. Now, in order for, I would assume, in order for abortion to become illegal, we would have to take some legal action on that. Do you support pro-life measures? If you were in the Senate, would you be willing to fight for the right of the unborn to just live?
Absolutely. As a father of 2 daughters, I appreciate life. I think we all appreciate life. I'm 100% pro-life. There's no doubt about that. The states' rights are very interesting in this era, and they should always be interesting. But as far as abortion is concerned, the states have the ability to determine that, and this is what will help open that up if we do get Roe v. Wade overturned.
So, what has the president done that he hasn't been able to achieve, that you think that you flipping this seat from Claire McCaskill's blue seat to red seat, if you were able to take that and make it a red seat, how would you be able to move the Trump agenda forward? What specific agenda items do you support that this president hasn't been able to get through because of Claire McCaskill?
Well, that's a great question. And 35 years of the public trough, I mean, really, Claire McCaskill has got to go. All of us Republicans have to remain excited and excitable about retiring Claire McCaskill. Now, a lot of candidates that are out there, it's very hard to get excited about. Now, my candidacy is something you can get excited about. I'm a guy that is excitable. But as far as our agenda and carrying forward our agenda, one idea that I have that I think that none of the other candidates are talking about because they don't understand it is the Mississippi River. There are $400 billion a year being transacted along that Mississippi River from St. Paul, Minnesota down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. There's a lot of excitement. We're now seeing the agricultural coast being promoted here as St. Louis. Well, you don't hear the other candidates talking about that. 90% of our soybean exports come down the Mississippi River. 80% of our corn exports come down the Mississippi River. What I would like to do as a 20-year professional negotiator, get together with the other congressional delegates from the Midwest that have boundaries along the Mississippi River River. That's Louisiana, it's Mississippi, it's Arkansas, it's Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, Iowa, Illinois. I said that twice, sorry. Wisconsin and Minnesota. And say, hey, let's spend some money on the Mississippi River. It's been 100 years since any real money's been spent on the Mississippi River. And we can include the Ohio, the Illinois, and the Missouri River as well. But while we're at it, because I'm not a big fan of one-off federal projects like the runway out at Lambert that's serving us all so well, what I would like to do, in addition to the Mississippi River improvements, is improve the roads, the highways, and bridges that circumvent, that crisscross over the Mississippi, the Missouri, and the Ohio, and the Illinois rivers. And we can do this through the appropriate appropriations process, through regular order in Congress.
Who's your favorite senator right now? Who do you see yourself going in and saying, I want to learn I want to learn this guy or this gal's process. I think they're doing it right.
That's a great question. You know, I'm not a big fan of any politician for that instance, but I would say, I would be a strong Republican proponent and a proponent of Missouri. As you can see on my lapel pin, I do have the state of Missouri on here because I want to remember. I'm never going to forget. But when I do go to D.C., I'll be grounded in the state of Missouri. So as far as a senator from Missouri, I would pick Kit Bond as somebody that I would like to emulate.
Okay. What about your least favorite senator? And you can't say Claire McCaskill.
Well, my least favorite senator, can I say Hillary Clinton?
Yeah, you can. What about currently serving? Is there anybody in the Senate right now that you think is?
Well, Chuck Schumer's just appalling. I mean, every time he opens his mouth, I get a little choked up. I want to vomit every time I hear Chuck Schumer speak.
Who's serving in the Senate right now that you would want to work with and get in there and move this agenda forward alongside?
Well, I think folks like Rand Paul that are independent thinkers, and obviously independent thinkers, I like the way that they move the ball from one side to the other side of the table. To interject ideas into the process is really what it's all about. So I like that from that standpoint.
And do you anticipate being able to have some sort of debate or anything? I know whenever I have a Senate candidate on, everybody wants to know if there's going to be a debate. Are you willing to participate in some kind of a debate?
I am. As a matter of fact, I've been involved in 4 or 5 forums so far out at Fenton in Hallsville, Missouri. I was just down in Springfield. I got to tell you, Missouri is a great big state. It is. It's 4 hours one way and 4 hours back. It's tough to do that, but it's a big state, and I've been in 4 or 5 already. And I really want to thank all the candidates for putting their name on the ballot, because it is no small thing to hold yourself out for public ridicule. And I want to thank them for doing that. And I also take the opportunity at the same time to, elaborate on some of the differences. And I've told you some of those already.
Yeah, you talk about opening yourself up to public ridicule. What's it like to run for Senate? Forget about obviously wanting to win, but it's certainly not an easy thing to do from a time management situation. But there's a lot of other things that come into play for a candidate. What's it like?
Well, I would have loved to have run 6 years ago myself. However, my daughters were young at that time. So now my daughters are both out of the house, and it's a lot easier to spend the time that I would have been doing other things like sleeping in parking lots, waiting for swim practice to be over at 7 or 5 a.m. So I'm not doing that anymore, and I have a little more time to focus on extracurricular activities like running for Senate. But I am currently working on 3 commercial real estate deals. That's what I do for a living. That's what I've been doing for 20 years here in St. Louis, and I've touched hundreds of business here in our area.
Sounds great. Last question I have to ask you: what's your favorite kind of M&Ms? It's kind of a thing on our show, and there's a major front runner which I wholeheartedly disagree with. But of all the M&Ms, what's your favorite?
Well, it's Republican red M&Ms. Of
red
course.
M&Ms,
it's
but
got to
like
be the red.
Plain or peanut butter.
Well, as a guy that looks to have a little extra protein, I do like that red peanut.
Oh gosh,
M&M. Those are very good.
Frank likes plain. I like peanut butter. Tony is the clear winner with the peanut M&Ms, but we ask everybody that. Yeah,
I've got an event coming up.
Yeah,
I'd like
tell
to tell
us about
everybody
it. How can people support you as well?
Well, on 7/11, that's July 11th. It's 7 p.m. at the Cool Dell Swim Club.
Okay.
All right. Everybody should know where that is. If you don't, you can Google it. but 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Cooldell Swim Club. It's a great club. It's great families. It's a fantastic environment. I'll have an opportunity there to address folks one-on-one and as a crowd as well. I'll be glad to feed you hot dogs, potato chips, even get you a cola. But please come out and support me. And there'll be a few other fun things going on that night, and I'd like to see you there.
That sounds great. And
my website is peterpfeiffer.com. It's very simple. My folks did have a bakery on Clayton Road. If you were familiar with it, was Pfeiffer's Party Pastries.
Okay.
I'm a real Missouri SOB. That's son of a baker.
Son of a baker. I like that. That's great. Yes. The website is peterpfeiffer.com. Pfeiffer is P-F-E-I-F-E-R. And you can also find him on Facebook at facebook.com/Peter Pfeiffer for Senate, on Twitter at Peter Pfeiffer 18. Peter, thanks for coming in here. And we look forward to watching the primary lead up. That primary is on August 7th here in the state of Missouri, an extremely important seat for Missouri and for the whole country. Yeah.
That's one day after my 50th birthday.
Oh.
I'll be glad to take your vote as a late birthday gift.
A little birthday gift
on
for
August
one
7th.
Peter Pfeiffer. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming
Thanks,
in here
Andy.
and visiting with us. We appreciate it.
Tony, you're great.
We're going to talk a little bit more about the announcement that we heard here that Justice Kennedy is going to retire. Come the end of July, it will be effective. So a lot of news coming out of the Supreme Court today with Justice Kennedy's retirement and also the Janus victory there, the public worker in the state of Illinois. Huge victory for him. Huge victory for people who want to retain their First Amendment when it comes to forced union dues. Your phone calls, haven't been able to take a whole lot of phone calls today, so we're going to get to those as soon as we come back. 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797, on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. We'll be right back.
But you rescued me from reaching for the bottom and brought me back, being too far gone. You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast on demand and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
All the time.
Traffic reports at your fingertips. Real-time traffic online. Log on to 971talk.com for real-time traffic updates.
Brought to you by Deck and Patio Living. Make your backyard dreams come true. Call 890-2222.
Brought to you by Black Rifle Coffee. The only place to get Black Rifle Coffee in St. Louis is from Tactical Shop in St. Peters. This is Sig Glockencolt. Get your Black Rifle Coffee, beans, ground, or K-Cups at Tactical Shop. While you're here, build yourself a Black Rifle or customize yours.
Dentistry with TLC and Dr. Anna Smith are just waiting for you to give them a call. Give them a text at 618-466-0733. So easy to get to, and such a great facility. Ready to possibly got braces in mind, maybe for yourself, it's possible, or also your children. I love this. Her oldest patient, Dr. Smith's oldest patient, was 84 years old. So I love that there are 84-year-old folks out there who are like, you know what? I want straight teeth, and I'm going to do it, and I don't care what anyone says. Dr. Anna Smith is ready to give you that consultation, and now through the end of August, you can get that consultation for just $1. Children can be evaluated for braces around the age of 8. And if caught early enough, sometimes Dr. Smith can even prevent children from needing braces later in life by helping their mouth grow to fit all of their teeth right now. And like I said, they're not just for kids, so if it's something you're considering as well, get that $1 consultation with the doctor. It comes with a digital panoramic X-ray now through the end of August. You can call them or text at 618-466-0733 or visit them online at dentistrywithtlc.com.
When it comes to supplying reliable energy across St. Louis, there's a name you can depend on. In St. Charles, it's Felicia. There's Tim up in Florissant and Karen down in Fenton. It's these names and many more throughout the communities they serve who have helped Ameren, Missouri make its own name. As a reliable energy provider across the region, dependable people generating energy their community can count on. That's energy at work. Learn more at AmerenMissouri.com/reliability.
Are you shopping for a new home? You'll need Golden Oak Lending for lower rates and faster closing.
You'll be welcomed by a senior loan officer who is knowledgeable and enjoys helping people. After all, you're buying a new home. This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Our home purchase division is all in-house to get your loan completed fast and on time. And best of all, we will save you money.
Tell your agent you want Golden Oak Lending for lower rates and fast closing. We love agents, we recommend agents, and we'd like to meet yours.
Call Golden Oak Lending. We'll get you pre-approved at no charge, so you'll be a highly respected buyer. And that gives your agent a lot of bargaining power.
Whether it's for refinance or purchase, if we can't close your loan, the appraisal is no charge. Call Golden Oak Lending, 314-567-GOLD, 567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my
NMLS 114937, 111 Westport Plaza, St. Louis, Missouri. Call 567-GOLD.
Frederick Roofing, wherever you live, from Bridgeton to Baldwin, Brentwood to Kirkwood, St. Anne to St. Charles, wherever you live. Hazelwood to Maplewood, the name you know. Frederick Roofing, wherever you go. For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing.
St. Louis, 314-645-2000.
Aren't you tired of hearing ads that say they're the best, they're the experts, blah, 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 just one unsubstantiated claim after another? Well, here are two substantiated claims that actually mean something if you need roof repair or a new roof. With a family-owned business tradition of over 80 years and 80,000 satisfied customers, you can depend on Frederick Roofing, residential or commercial.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
What is the purpose of a free press?
Weeknights, 9 to midnight.
Protect the principles of the Republic?
Mark Levin.
And what if the press are contributing to the deterioration?
Weeknights, 9 to midnight.
Does any of this matter?
On FM News Talk
97.1.
Turn the quiet up, turn the noise down. Let this old world just spin around. I wanna feel it.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Want a little more right and a little less left. A little more right now, a little less what's next. Act like tomorrow's 10 years away, and just kick back and let the feeling flow. Drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke.
All right, welcome back. Just had Peter Pfeiffer in here. If you're interested in learning more about Peter Pfeiffer, you can go to peterpfeiffer.com. He would like to take that Claire McCaskill Senate seat. Boy, that needs to go red, doesn't it? Wow, that was abrupt.
What happened last time with that song?
Get that song out of here.
We
We're
don't have
done
the whole
with that.
thing in there.
Just make it go away. That primary is August 7th, so make sure that you are ready to vote for one of those candidates in the Republican primary there in the state of Missouri on August 7th, because I'm saying it, Republicans in Missouri, whatever you come up with on August 7th, and I wish I could vote in it, but I'm in Illinois, so I only get to vote multiple times over there. I don't get to vote here. At least I haven't figured out a way yet to make that happen. But it's got to go red. The seat has to go red.
I'm so interested in that thing.
Yeah.
In the primary, and then, of course, the general is going to be great, too, but the primary is going to be just as exciting.
Yeah. It's only going to get more exciting from here on out.
Agreed.
And with... Are we keeping you up?
No.
A deep sigh? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I have no idea, do I? The big news of today, there's multiple big news. We keep out big newsing ourselves. Originally, the Janus v. AFSCME court case that was in the Supreme Court came out, and they ruled in favor of Janus, which is basically he is, as he said. We had him on the show earlier. Make sure you go to 971talk.com/Annie to catch that replay. He's a public employee, and he didn't want to have fees coming out of his paycheck to go into things that he didn't want to support. And as I mentioned previously, if you look at 2016, now this is the NEA, this is the National Education Association. There's an IEA. I'm not 100% sure what the Missouri Teachers Association is called, but the NEA, which is the National Education Association, contributed $347,000 to Republicans in 2016. $347,000 from the NEA to Republicans in 2016, and $2.8 million to Democrats in 2016. So the money that goes into these unions does get used for political purposes, and if it's not serving the purpose that you want, you probably don't want that money to come out of your paycheck. Now, there are things that this case does not affect. The unions will still receive dues from members. They will still have all workers in mind when they're at the bargaining table. So if people do opt out of paying these for this, like what the case was about, not having to put money into the pot for the union, they will still be represented at the bargaining table, which is what a lot of people are frustrated with who are pro-union, because you're not paying to play. They are also going to, let's see here, be able, I'm looking on illinoispolicy.org right now. It says unions will still be able to go on strike as permitted by state law, and unions will still represent workers in grievances against their employer. So this doesn't end unions. Unions are still there. It's just a matter of employees and they're where the money comes from to the union from the employees, and the employees should have a say in that. The Senate, or in the same vein as the Supreme Court, we get the announcement that Justice Kennedy will be retiring at the end of July. And Tony, you were looking up this statistic when it comes to approving judges. We were saying,
this is just interesting.
We were saying, like, oh, when is this going to happen? Hopefully this happens ASAP. And then we hear the president say that they are working on a nominee immediately. And then you hear Mitch McConnell say that they will vote in the fall, which indicates they will vote before the election happens. So, Tony, you started to look into, like, I wonder what these justices have been approved by.
The last couple of days, I've just been doing a little bit of research on Supreme Court justices and, their ages and things like that, to just kind of look forward to, if, how old are particular judges, how long, if Trump gets reelected in 2020, or even if, what's the chances of another Supreme Court vacancy coming up. So in doing this caught me. I thought this was interesting. Looking back at the last 4 nominees to the Supreme Court, which was Neil Gorsuch, of course, most recently, he was approved by a 54 to 45 vote in the Senate.
How many Republicans?
54 to 45 vote in the Senate. Elena Kagan, who was Barack Obama's final appointee, 63 to 37. Sonia Sotomayor before that was also Barack Obama, 68 to 31. Samuel Alito was one of 2 George W. Bush nominees, 58 to 42. Today, we're talking a lot about Anthony Kennedy, so I went back and looked at him. He was appointed, of course, by Ronald Reagan. His confirmation vote was 97 to 0.
Where have we gone?
Isn't that a telling stat?
Yeah.
That's just a very telling stat.
Not 97 to 3. 97
which
to
either
0.
means, which my guess is, because this was in 1988, I think, is when he was nominated. Either for some reason there were 3 senators that weren't there, not there that day to vote, or if they did have an opposition to him in respect to the president, in respect to the nominee, instead of voting no, they just abstained, and that was sort of their way of voting no without voting no.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just amazing to see these last ones. By no means, a huge majority, and go back and see somebody like Anthony Kennedy under Ronald Reagan, who was nominated 97 to 0.
Also interesting to watch these rulings come out and see so many of them just be on, so-called party lines, and the party is essentially indicated by the president that appointed them. Certainly they're not, nobody's running for Supreme Court, not in a campaign at least. They might be advocating for a spot, but they don't go in there with a political affiliation. They'll be considered a more conservative or more liberal judge. But it's the same law. It's just the way they interpret it.
Right.
Which truly, I say this so frequently, but it's true. We can most of the time agree across party lines on the problem. But the solution is where we differ so greatly. Who should take care? Who should be the answer to the problem? How do we solve said problem? And the difference is that traditionally liberals want the government to provide a solution for the problem, and conservatives want the government to get out of the way and let the problem in effect sort of solve itself, whether it's through the free market or through the people,
right,
and so on and so forth. But when it comes to interpreting the law is the law. It's about interpreting the law. And you see, even when these justices who are very experienced and very well versed in the Constitution, in the law, how different they can still see it.
Mm-hmm.
Frank, would you want to add something?
3 senators were absent during the voting on Anthony Kennedy. They were Joe Biden, Al Gore, and Paul Simon. They were.
I played Paul Simon today.
Senator from
that just didn't come to work that day.
Senator from Tennessee, Mr. Gore, and the senator from Illinois, Mr. Simon, are necessarily absent. And I announced the senator from Delaware is absent because of illness.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So there you are.
So it sounds like Gore and Biden just didn't vote, didn't show up to vote, and instead of, again, like I mentioned,
out of respect of the president,
I'm just going to kind of boycott the vote, and that's going to be my.
Well, that's not necessarily true. It says that
you're right.
According to the record, they were necessarily absent. They may have been
could be anything.
Right.
But I could see back in
certainly
those days,
I could see that
instead of officially going on the record with a no vote, out of respect, to just sort of
it was just a
vote.
very different time. It was a time where if you needed to be necessarily busy that day, what's more important than voting as a senator, voting for a Supreme Court justice? Well, there are some things that are more important than that. Who knows what they were?
Right.
But there are also some things that you maybe had to do.
It's going to overwhelmingly pass, and there's no reason for you. Did we give the numbers on the compromise bill? I stepped out of the studio there for a few minutes. So just as we all predicted and everything, it failed by a large margin. Much larger than the Goodlatte bill.
Yeah. Tell us about
surprising. 121 yes votes to 301 no votes. They did finally vote on the compromise bill just about an hour ago, and as everybody predicted, it has officially failed. So I would expect that we will not see another bill attempted until the next Congress on immigration. So the immigration debate will continue to hang. It will continue to be unsolved, and
we're going to have to make sure that you watch when your candidates are running in primaries and when your candidates are running in the election in November. You're going to have to know where these folks lie. Do they want to support the president or don't they? That kind of gets us back to the beginning of the show today, where when we look at the election that took place yesterday, the primaries with Mitt Romney won. But as Rachel Sutherland pointed out, Mitt Romney was very quiet. You have not seen a lot of Mitt Romney out there, and he's running in a primary, and usually that's when you're the loudest, is right before your election occurs.
I wonder how loud he was there.
Not very.
Really?
Okay. Comparatively speaking, it's not like he needs name recognition.
Right.
If you're going to vote in a runoff election, you're going to see Mitt Romney and another person. You're going to know who Mitt Romney is for sure, and you're going to know he's a Republican. But I mean, primary voters are usually pretty smart. They're pretty educated because, first of all, they're voting in a primary, and that alone means that you have a little bit more of an investment than most people. But you look to New York, where Joe Crowley, a 20-year veteran of the House, somebody who is involved in Democratic leadership there in the House. There was word that he could potentially serve as the Speaker of the House, potentially if the Democrats were to gain back the majority. At some point, he would be in the running for that. 28-year-old self-labeled socialist Democrat defeats him by going door to door and talking to people face to face. and she's a socialist, and she's young, and I don't want to begrudge her for being young and being bold and being actionable, but the tides are going to shift here, turn a little bit, where we are going to have to be much more active, much more aware of what is each of these candidates stand for. And if you've got a candidate in your district, whatever it might be, that is a little bit more moderate, and you can't, if you feel like you got to hold your nose to vote for him, well, remember that they might be being offset by a socialist 28-year-old in New York. Mm-hmm. It matters. It all matters. And a midterm election is not any less important than any of the other elections. We'll be right back with more. 314-241-9797. Twitter at Annie Frey Show. Facebook.com/Annie Frey Show. And radio.com app for the podcasts as well. Lots more to come.
Wanna feel it sway and put some feel good in my soul. Drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast on demand and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
And just kick back and let the feeling flow. Drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
All the active weather of the last couple of days now kicking off to the east. 92 will do it for the high this afternoon. The humidity will be able to cut with a knife. Tonight, clear skies. 75 for the overnight low. 80s for evening plans. Thursday through Sunday, sunny, hot, and humid. 95 to 100 degrees each day. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show, live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. A portion of every HVAC installation goes to Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up today at gslhonorflight.org. And for free HVAC estimates, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply. Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in St. Louis? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the St. Louis area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. St. Louis is a perfect market for my system, and this week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000 right now because this free ticket offer expires this Friday. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
Are you ready for a grand adventure this summer? Get behind the wheel of a new Land Rover Discovery from Land Rover St. Louis. It's the perfect time to try something new and save more than $5,500 off MSRP on a brand new 2017 Discovery. That's a huge savings on a vehicle that has the power and capability to take you on your next adventure. At Land Rover St. Louis, a Plaza Motor Company on Olive Boulevard in Creve Coeur. Stock number HA043491, MSRP $71,264. See dealer for complete details.
Listen to why Alan from Glen Carbon trusted Michael Mohan from Community Mortgage with his home purchase.
We had a complicated situation. We needed a loan to purchase the home that we were living in. And because of these circumstances, I really didn't know which way to turn. And I heard his commercial on the radio. So I just thought, I'm going to give him a call. I was impressed from the moment we began to talk, and from step 1 through step 10, everything worked out perfectly. We got a 15-year loan, which was right where we wanted to be, and the interest rate was fantastic. There's a lot of people that do what Michael does. but he adds a professionalism and is able to create an atmosphere of friendship. It puts a person at ease. Everything was done, and he pointed to a number, and he said, "You see that number?" And it was a 0, just like his commercial promised.
Call Michael Mohan at Community Mortgage, 314-336-6050, or at communitymortgagestl.com. Community Mortgage LLC, NMLS 224143 and 250353.
I want you to consider making your lovely home great again by transforming and complementing your home decor with the finest window fashion from Proctor Drapery. Of course, Michael Proctor's a great guy with exceptional expertise, an interior designer, and what's more, he's personally available to you 7 days a week. You don't have to go shopping anywhere, and why would you? Important decisions on window treatments with Michael's expertise and talented eye can and should be made right in the comfort of your own home. You'll be excited to see your new look decor right then and there. And Michael offers all the varieties of decorative hardware, the latest and gorgeous designer fabrics, luxurious, contemporary, classic. Proctor Drapery has served St. Louis's most gracious citizen since 1974 with the highest quality and value for custom drapery, blinds, shades, and shutters. Also a top-tier Hunter Douglas priority dealer and your first choice for Norman Plantation shutters. Schedule a fast, easy, and convenient appointment with Michael's mobile design unit. Visit proctordrapery.com. It's Proctor, spelled like doctor.
If you have retirement questions, you can bet Marvin Mitchell probably has the answer. Join him every Saturday at 4 and Sunday at 1 for Rethinking Retirement. With his years of experience, Marvin can help take the guesswork out of your retirement planning. Rethinking Retirement is your source for all things retirement, from how current events could affect your savings to strategies to maximize your retirement income and everything in between. Don't miss Rethinking Retirement with Marvin Mitchell every Saturday at 4 and Sunday at 1.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Thursday, Speaker Tim Jones is in the big chair. He'll have the man at the center of the Supreme Court decision on unions, plus Senator Jim Talent.
On FM News Talk 97.1.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app, available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
FM News Talk 97.1. This is the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
The races everyone was watching, Henry McMaster in South Carolina and Dan Donovan here in New York. The president went out for them pretty hard. They won. What does that tell you?
Well, it tells me the president continues to be exceptionally popular with the Republican electorate, those people who voted him into office. And if you look at what this administration did when it came to South Carolina, Henry McMaster specifically was a very early supporter of candidate Trump. President Trump was down in South Carolina over the weekend. On Monday. The vice president was down there. And this is a race where they wanted to make sure that the people of South Carolina knew that Henry was on the Trump agenda. They went down there in full force, and the voters turned out to support Henry McMaster in what was a runoff election.
If you are a supporter of this president, if you are a Republican, if you are a conservative, today has been a very good day. President Trump has proven in yesterday's primaries that he continues to be able to positively influence these primary elections in favor of his candidate. I'm not suggesting there's any collusion going on when it comes to election influence. I'm just saying that he is
just said there's collusion.
South Carolina collusion. Somebody call Peter Strzok. Is he busy? Oh, yeah, that's right.
He is busy today.
He's busy
actually.
today. Crap. Lisa, is she free? Lisa Page, somebody text her.
She is free.
Did you see on our Facebook page, you go to facebook.com/Annie Frey Show, and there's an article I shared there, and it shows more text messages that were going back and forth between two other agents, and every time they talk about President
Unnamed agents, yeah.
Yeah, they'd use the puking emoji, and they would talk about President Trump. I'm like, the people that are running the FBI are communicating in puke emojis?
Yeah.
Maybe it's less trackable.
It just reminds you that they're just people.
Yeah.
They're just people. They talk like people. They act like people. They have
opinions like people. Yeah. And so, but you have the insurance policy that was supposed to keep the president from becoming the president. No proof there. There's nothing to see here. They haven't been able to land that. The president has a 5-4 decision that went in favor of Janus today. Or the Supreme Court has that decision, I should say. But the president has the fifth vote in favor of with the conservative leaning Neil Gorsuch, or the constitutionalist. That's a big deal. It shows how important it is to hold these offices. When I close my eyes and think about what it looks like on June 27th of 2018 under Hillary's presidency, holy smokes. How different would it be? What would it look like if Hillary Clinton is in Singapore with Kim Jong-un shaking his hand? Is she able to impose maximum pressure that gets to that point? So far, we don't talk about it anymore. Like peace in the Korean Peninsula is old news that we don't talk about anymore. But they are continuing to follow out the plan that has been laid forth by this administration that has come about because of the maximum pressure that he has put on, that China helped enforce. That's a big deal as well. Tax cuts have done wonderful things for the economy, and they've also the unemployment rate, the black unemployment rate, all of this conversation that we have about immigration, at least we're talking about it. I mean, I wish we could get something done on it. As Tony mentioned just previously, the compromise bill fell flat on its face today in the House. Not terribly shocking there, but they did vote. So now you know where your representatives stand on that. A vote for this compromise bill, or I should say a vote against it, doesn't mean that they're necessarily against the wall because they voted against it. There were a lot of things in the compromise bill that a lot of conservatives weren't willing to compromise on, which is why they vote no.
Yep.
But we're having the conversations that need to be had. And then the biggest news of the day is that Justice Anthony Kennedy will be retiring at the end of July. He is the first justice to retire since 2010. Neil Gorsuch replaced Justice Scalia, who passed away unexpectedly at his ranch 2 years ago.
We were doing some speculation on who could be the next, the judge appointed by Donald Trump, and I was looking at some ages. I think that's going to be very key. Neil Gorsuch is in his mid-50s.
Mm-hmm.
I would be shocked if his next appointee is any older than 55 years old.
Yeah. You want something that's going to...
Guys like Andrew Napolitano, who's in his late 60s, I believe, even Judge Jeanine, as funny as that is, I wouldn't put it past this president.
I'm telling you right now,
But she's in her late 60s as well, and I don't think he's going to nominate... I don't think that he's going to put up anybody that's... this person, I think, is going to be in their 50s, maybe even late 40s, and somebody that can be on the bench for
a while,
decades.
When it comes to Judge Jeanine, I know that there are people listening right now that are going, "We want Judge Jeanine." They really like Judge Jeanine.
I really like Andrew Napolitano. I don't agree with everything he says, but I think he'd be a good. I think he would be good on the court. Can
you imagine? I just want to see a black female sitting in front of all these Democrats and then being like, "Nope, can't do that." Because when it comes to the left, a lot of times that's all you need. It's all
unless you're a conservative.
Well, sure. It's all about demographics to the left.
If you're a female or a minority, you will get a free pass to do just about anything from the left, except be conservative.
Be a Republican.
And then you are, be a Republican. Because then it is the unforgivable sin. Then suddenly all of those benefits to being in one of those classes evaporate.
Just look at President Trump, who was Democrat for the majority of his life.
Gay people, same way.
Yeah. And in many cases, you could look at Eric Greitens. Eric Greitens was a Democrat for a long time. And then when he became a Republican, that really frustrated a lot of people. And then he wasn't the right version of Republican or whatever. But it is the kiss of death, which is why when you choose to come out of the Republican closet and openly say, you know what, yeah, I am a conservative. Or if you're, speaking for me, I'm a Christian. There are things that are important to me that I'm not willing to be ashamed of, and I'm not sitting here telling you what you have to be or what you have to believe or what you have to do, but this is what I am, and I'm not ashamed of it. Today was a good day to be a conservative in the United States of America, so enjoy it. The news cycle will change 7 times before I get to come talk to you again. So stay tuned. FM News Talk 97.1 will be all over it. Dave Glover Show is coming up next. Go download that radio.com app, and you can see our podcast on it. You can also listen to the show there as well. Radio.com app, which is where our podcasts, our interviews are all loaded up there. 971talk.com/Annie, on Twitter, @Annie Frey Show. See you tomorrow.
Pour another glass of that rock and roll. Turn up the band, find the hole, gonna lose control tonight. What do you want?
Such bigger rates may apply. Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in St. Louis? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the St. Louis area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. St. Louis is a perfect market for my system, and this week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000 right now because this free ticket offer expires this Friday. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
Tell me, when did the nightmares begin?
It was when Diamonds Direct opened up here in St. Louis.
Interesting.
Everything was going great in her jewelry store. We owned the radio advertising, we had awesome profit margins, we were knocking off the top designers with mass-produced rings, and nobody cared. And we were able to get by with a bare-bones inventory. Then Diamonds Direct came along with more selection, better quality diamonds, and the real designer rings that all women are asking for. And actually no middleman prices. They turned our world upside down.
If your jeweler is experiencing anxiety, it's because Diamonds Direct has disrupted their world with prices, selection, quality, education, warranties, and guarantees never before offered here in the Show Me State. Before you make that purchase at the same old place, come make some new friends at Diamonds Direct.
I have nightmares that everyone in St. Louis leaves us and only shops at Diamonds Direct.
I understand. Close your eyes and relax. I'll be right back.
Wait, where are you going? I'm not finished.
Diamonds Direct! Don't come!
Diamonds Direct, where St. Louis gets engaged. Olive and 270 at City Place.
Hi, I'm Kelly Clarkson, and I've toured the country dozens of times, and there's one thing every state has in common: childhood hunger. The sad truth is that 17 million kids don't know where their next meal is coming from, or if it's even coming at all. Yet there are billions of pounds of surplus food around the country at farms and warehouses that could help end this injustice. But all that food is useless if it doesn't get where it needs to go. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to hungry kids before it goes to waste. But they can't do it without your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank. Find out how at feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're Feeding America.
To help solve hunger in your community and to find your local food bank, visit feedingamerica.org. That's feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
Powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
FM News Talk 97.1,
a radio.com station.
President Trump gets a second Supreme Court nominee. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Justice Anthony Kennedy, off in a deciding vote on the high court, is retiring at the end of next month, prompting immediate calls from Democrats for the Senate to wait until after the midterms to vote on a nominee. Fox's Jared Halpern, live in Washington.
Well, the confirmation fight could start soon in the Senate. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says there will be a vote to confirm Justice Kennedy's successor this fall.
It's imperative that the president's nominee be considered fairly and not subjected
to personal attacks.
But Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says a confirmation vote should wait until after the November midterm elections.
Millions of people are just months away from determining the senators who should vote to confirm or reject the president's nominee.
McConnell blocked action on filling a Supreme Court vacancy left by Justice Scalia's death in 2016 until after the presidential election. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. Well, President Trump, meantime, plans to pick a nominee from the same list he used to nominate Neil Gorsuch.
It's always been considered a tremendously important thing. Some people think outside of, obviously, war and peace, it's the most important thing that you could have.
The president calling Justice Kennedy a man of tremendous vision and heart. The driver accused of plowing into protesters, killing one in Charlottesville, Virginia last year, is now charged with federal hate crimes based in part on social media posts of white supremacist views.
His support for the social and racial policies of Adolf Hitler and Nazi Germany, including the Holocaust.
Also, support for violence against African Americans, Jews, and others. U.S. Attorney Thomas Cullen says James Fields Jr. faces 30 federal counts on top of existing state charges, including murder. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Listen, my life changed because someone was there to get me to use drugs. No one can understand. Whether or not they've struggled with addiction themselves, people seem to think that having